I almost have no pre-leaving tasks left.
Ooh. You mean in terms of Nyanzaru or in terms of,
Nyanzaru. Yeah.
For a second I thought we were talking about job.
Oh, no, God. Actually, I can't even say that, because work was actually really pleasant today.
Nice. So I take it the Jinx did not jinx?
It did not jinx. In fact, I did end up getting a call. So, it did jinx, like, a tiniest bit, but the call was well-timed and the politest lady ever who had all her shit together, so can't really complain.
Very nice.
We're in that sweet spot where, like, when you're so busy for so long that you forget what quiet feels like. And then quiet happens and you're like, what is this thing I have been this is the thing I have been taking for granted for a very long period of time.
It's like remembering the taste of chunky peanut butter after years and years of not having chunky peanut butter.
I keep checking my phone to make sure that I am in fact in ready status, because I'm like, it's been a whole 4 minutes since I got a call.
Did I forget to stop slacking?
Yeah, basically. Oh, also, I think Slacker got talked to. Because, yeah, some stuff has changed.
Oh, really?
In her overall habits, yeah.
I wonder if the upper... the managers were like, all right, the rest of your coworkers are following your lead. Now we have to put a pin in this.
I think it was less that than me aggressively continuing to politely point it out in Gen Chat.
You were calling them out politely.
Yeah. I was like, hey, it looks like for some reason you were sitting in training for 10 minutes after your 15-minute break. That's weird, right?
Is there something I can help you with?
I'm sure it's a problem on my tracking software. And then our sweetest pie lady, she is so awesome. Her name is Cecilia, and she's like one of our 2 Spanish speakers. She's like, oh no, I see that too. That's what it looks like on my end as well. Maybe her.
Oh!
Shit, dude.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
Boss and back up.
Yep.
I can't believe you single-handedly murdered that woman. Well, actually, it was a team effort, but still.
And she did it completely, like, sweetly, like, oh, I think she's having computer issues, because I see that problem, too. It's like, you are either the low-keyest shade thrower, or you just accidentally throw shade. Either way, I appreciate both.
Hold on. Forgot to turn on my handset.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm just shoveling food into my gullet, but we're going to start shortly.
Okay.
Also sucking down coffee.
I'm just making sure the stream is working, and it is, because it didn't work for Coasties, and that was disappointing.
No! You had a really good game with Coasties!
The good news is that we have secondary recordings for Coasties, because, I mean, secondary and tertiary, because Hannah records, and then they transcribe the game in the couple days afterwards.
I cannot fathom having the patience to do that. The fact that you and Hannah both do that means that you're probably Fae. I think that's the difference between our core personalities, is that y'all are Fae.
No. The difference is that we're aggressively ADHD, and that is how the only best way to keep notes is to listen to it again after.
One thing can be two things.
Yeah.
I think Fae are pretty ADHD coded.
True.
Definitely neurodivergent.
That's
for sure.
For sure. But it was very helpful when I was taking over as DM for that game to be able to be like, this this is what happened at the beginning, and then this is what happened in this arc, and then this is what happened in this arc, and then...
Oh, man. I remember the game that me, Cece, and Alicia were playing. Our DM turned out to be a shitbag. He was stealing from the shop, got kicked out of the shop, so the game kind of came to an end. Then another DM just, like, picked it up. Looked over, like, a handful of notes from the old DM and just was like, okay, this is where we're picking up. Totally different animal from what we started with, but James was a solid DM, and he did a lot of bullshit. Like, there was a lot of drama in the story, but I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah. So their DM before me was Betsy, and she was nice, but she had just she's one of those people that real life just won't let do things aggressively. So.
Oh yeah.
So she didn't have. Coasties are they have youngest child syndrome in that I love them, and they're super into game, and they're very excited and very into game. So it's not like a game or a group even where you just go, all right, we're gonna, I'm gonna read the book like 10 minutes before a game, know what we're doing this session, and it's fun. Like, my coasties love my game. They love it so goddamn much. The Coastie server is the second most active server I'm in, and it's barely less active than Loose Cannon, or Filthy Casuals.
Good God.
Yeah.
That is a very active group.
It is.
Love to see it.
It is. They write pages upon pages of side chats and meta-analysis of their characters, and I believe there's at least 4 or 5 different fanfiction AUs running around. Which is just, it's brilliant, and I love it. But I don't think their previous DM was ready for that level of a character-based intensity and roleplay-based intensity. But you know me, they're like... I'm like, oh, you update your character's song playlist after every game? Gimme, please.
Wait. Definitely incorporate that when you start using Foundry.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Oh shit, I need a picture of a boat.
A picture of a boat.
I think I might have one. Oh, there's Bodie McBoatface.
Shit, the DM says.
I'll just use this one for now.
That is the one good thing about Roll20, is that I could type in boat and then pull an asset in very easily.
All right.
I will say that Rob found a really good asset creator built into Foundry where you can just make tokens on the fly.
The tokenizer, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up importing the default frames that I use for character tokens into Tokenizer, so I can just like copy paste a picture from someone in, not someone. Find a picture from Pinterest. Just hit copy paste.
Oh, I don't.
And now I've got now I have a token of a Brontosaurus that's properly formatted with like the specific color frame that I like to have because I am anal retentive and like consistency.
Ooh.
Except when I don't. Look at you, Verdi's icon.
I mean, I'm sorry. To be fair, Heldy's icon is escaping too.
Yeah. I like escaping icons. I like pop-out icons. They're quaint. Okay, so as we approach the 15-minute mark past the time we're supposed to start, I would like to apologize for taking so long and dragging my heels. I'd also like to apologize for how rough and tumble and bumpy it's going to be tonight. You'll find out. So, would anyone like to start us off with a recap?
I think, yeah. I think the first thing that happened was the hags, so, and the fire.
That was basically the main thing.
Alright, so the Half Moon Court burned down by a Aeon Fire Water. That's not quite the correct name, but it's close.
I don't see Mish.
Oh, did Mish leave?
For a second, then he stopped, I think.
Oh, no, yeah, he's gone.
No, he's not in chat. That's
Did he lose power?
probably why he didn't say anything.
I was about to say, like, you guys really want me to talk? I'll summarize y'all's stuff, but I'm not going to be the person for that.
Oh gosh, I got fooled. Zenka, Red Coat Semi. He's not in. He's not
he
here.
ain't got internets. I'm gonna
Oh.
send him. What?
He doesn't have internet?
No, I'm saying he's not online.
Yeah, I'll send him a
Yeah.
text. You sending him a text?
Oh, I see him on mobile.
You should get him. Oh! Oh no! He's rebooting. Do we want to wait for Mitch?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Alright, so some shit happened with a hag. We can come back to that.
We'll circle back.
We'll circle back to that. Does anyone remember what happened after the hag? My face is like really hot, and I'm like really gross right now, and I can't remember anything. So, verbose detail if you can.
Bones told Crosp that she is going to be heading to Vasya to figure out what the hell is going on with all this prophecy nonsense, because she would like to get to the bottom of how much of this was actually foretold, how much of this was like otherworldly beings knew it, but not like her actual parents. So,
Finding her place in the cosmology.
or more like finding out how much shit was known before reasonably, I guess, that she did not know about.
Checks out.
Cross was like, okay, I guess we're going into the jungle, and Bones was like, and blue screened a little bit. And said, you know what, I'm gonna bring Shago, and then got about to, like, breakfast before changing her mind, so she's gonna have to loop back and be like, yeah, we're going into the jungle.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then, I mean, after that, Bones mostly just went to, go talk to Vanya. Other than that, Alina got to see Sana wake up and had a conversation with Lloyd, her father, telling him, you know, watch out, because it looks like she might have some magic residuum in her. So just keep an eye on that. Reach out to the God Mafia if you need any help. We're around. And he agreed to, so. Oh, and Alina did promise that she would teach Sana how to fight monsters when she was an adult. That will
You're
not
gonna
come.
regret that.
Yeah, that will not come back to bite her at all. Though she probably won't regret it because she actually did mean it. So.
It's fine. This is fine.
And then
Loose ends time.
yeah, and then she wandered around the city a little bit before being found by Karn, who was like, Roar needs your guidance, and she's like, guidance with a little G or guidance with a big G? And Karn was like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, let's go talk to Roar.
Right on. I did, and I didn't want to load back up. Man, you got a solid state drive and a Ryzen 5. You should be back by now, you sumbitch. Alright, what else? What else happened? We had Alina, who closed that thread, opened that thread with Sana. Ended up meeting with Karn. Biff, I believe you got sent on errands?
Yeah, Biff was tasked by Aramag to go find, to get him a couple cookies. Oreos, Euphorios. So he went and did that and squirreled one away from, squirreled him away. He also bought himself a replacement outfit. Sorry, Biff was kind of boring last session.
No worries. Toggle navigation. Ah, there it is. And that is there. Cool, that's there. That covers that covers what happened with Biff. As far as, well, aside from pointing out that Biff had woken up with a friendly stranger, um, as far as the gi goes, did you pick up like the same color, or are you going for a new design?
Oh, he got traveling clothes this time. He still has his gi, but it was the purple outfit that Birdie got him that got destroyed. So he said he went with dark dark pants and a purple shirt in commemoration. And sandals. He would need those too.
Okay, just checking in with the group chat. Looks like Mitch is having some serious computer issues. Trying to see if I can get him to join us on mobile. Not. Hey, there he is. Hey, if you can hear us, we are continuing with our recap. I don't know the status of your PC, but I do know that you have a shitty laptop somewhere. You are welcome to boot that up if you'd like. Like I just said in IMs, not IMs, we can Jaeger, Karn, and Vanya if need be.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right, well, that's a good sign.
Yeah, we can squash PC issues later.
Yeah, I'm going to keep messing around with this and see if I can do something about it.
Sure thing. So, is there anything left to cover? I briefly checked in with the Crossp office. Roar, your etheric engine has essentially been fabricated and charged with a spell. What else? What else? What else? Aside from that, things were heavily weighted. Oh yeah, and then there was Leah, who was conveying all the things that was happening like a train wreck in slow motion. Nothing bad happened though. So aside from that, most of the things that happened, or at least a chunk of the game, happened in Cherokee Anchorage with Vanya, Verdi, and Edith. Niche, are you able to give us a recap, or would you like me to take over?
Sure. Let's see. um, we picking up last game. We were able to. Verdi and Vanya managed to free Edith, who we found more information about later, from the burning wreckage of her home while a hag looked on from the fire. I had her name noted down, but I don't have my notes in front of me.
And Firewart.
And Firewart, who threatened Vanya with sharing some information about her. Vanya kept counterspelling her attempts to make things more difficult for them. and then used all of the abilities available to her to get Edith back to her apartment, where there was a very fraught conversation where Vanya learned more about Edith and how she was she's a hag in hiding, who exposed herself to the doom of her vengeful coven by trying to find out some information about the hag that Vanya's party had found in the wastes, and Vanya promptly felt horrible about that. They reached a kind of temporary understanding that allowed Vanya to get some sleep. She woke up the next morning while her familiar and Edith tended to her potion overnight. Spoke with Edith, learned a little bit more about Edith's backstory and how much they really had in common. And Edith decided that it was best for her to leave Nyanzaru to avoid bringing undue attention on them both. Entrusted her cauldron and her book to Vanya as soon as Vanya can recover it from the ruins of the store, and decided to leave to pay a visit to Amber. Why am I'm blanking on the last part of that name now?
Amber Breeze.
Ember Breeze.
Amber Breeze, thank you. To go visit Amber Breeze, even though it might be a one-way trip for her. Vanya didn't really have a way to stop her or a good reason to keep her around, so she left. And then as she and Verdi were calming down from that meeting, Verdi pointed out that Bones might have an item that could help. But they had stuff to do first and a conversation to be had. And while they warmed up for that, Bones showed up with breakfast. And Vanya stumbled her way through an explanation of what happened the previous night, deciding to trust Bones. But before she could get too much into her own story, Bones kind of leapt at the idea of wrangling Edith back into the fold, since she does indeed have an item that could help protect her from scrying. At which point the three of them began to scramble together a plan to try and get ahead of Edith, to try and tell her that no, she doesn't actually have to leave, she can just leave with them, and then everything will be okay. But Vanya can't help out because she's got to finish her potion. So Verdi was charged with getting a boat from Tiriki Anchorage, and Bones was charged with enlisting the aid of whomever she could find to help them get moving.
I believe it's Karn that she was searching out, as that is a druid who she knows where he is.
Yes.
All right. So, as we pull away from Cherokee Anchorage, a plot being formed, a plan being made, a few more irons are still in the fire. Roar. I don't believe it is yet time for you to complete your task. Do you have a ballpark of how many more hours it will take?
So you said it was about 32 hours from 6 p.m. on Saturday night. So that would actually put it at roughly 2 a.m. in the morning on Monday that I could have finished.
2 a.m. on Monday. So you are working through the hours, just busting your hump. Let's pull in with Alina and Karn as they make their way back to Crosp's office. Following from the market ward westward, Alina, as you move, capital G, lowercase g, you're not entirely sure, but you do have the wherewithal, and you did make a successful religion check earlier to recall a particular incantation, the guidance spell or guidance blessing, calling upon the spirits or the gods or the power of positivity and success to grant success. You don't know if that is in Jean Delacroix's wheelhouse. You do know a little shit who likes to deal with the concept of luck.
That's fair. But Alina's going to check and make sure it's not lowercase g guidance before she goes and fetches Ernest.
Right on. So you guys make your way back to Crosp's old office, heretofore referred to as the old lab. Making your way inside, you find that Crosp's former office, the old lab, as it were, is strewn about with various building supplies. There is a small anvil. There is a small stone forge. There is a giant-ass boat in the middle of this shop, and a hole in a wall that leads into a black void.
There is a whole ass boat in here.
Is whole ass boat very full? Proper labs need boats. This is now truth. Gallium shouts from behind the boat, just waving his hand up in the air. You don't see his head. There's too much boat in the way.
This one believes that boats deserve to be free in the water. This is not in the water.
I believe they should be free other places, and that's why I'm making it.
Karn, as you say
Karn
that,
had the look of dubious astonishment on his face.
As Roar counterpoints, you do see Gallium's head kind of slowly raise up from behind one of the railings, and he's squinting at you, jaw kind of jerked to the side. Roar speaks. He gives a firm nod, then slips back down. You hear some banging and some knocking.
I'm very close.
This one has brought a paladin for the roar.
I wasn't heard of you. You are in need of my guidance. I can offer wisdom on such things as drunken carousing, death, and lute playing.
Karn holds his arms out towards Elena in a presentary manner and looks to Roar.
I know fuck all about the boats though, so.
Mood music would be appreciated.
I meant the assistant's kind of spell. I don't think Alina knows that though, because she wouldn't have chosen Joseph first. Would you?
No. So you need guidance with the big G. Okay, Ernest has that. I will go find him and bring him, I suppose.
That would be very helpful, thank you.
Will you also be bringing loot?
I hold up my arm where I have a bracelet with a little loot charm on it. I always bring my loot.
He kind of squints at you, head bobbing up and nodding, and slowly easing back down to go back to hammering. Is tiny loot. But his loot is good, yeah. Bring other cleric, the Ernest, and bring loot. Is good.
I will. And Alina will head out in search of Ernest, who may or may not have put on real clothes at this point. We don't know.
We don't know. Okay. You have a pretty good idea where to find Ernest. He's kind of like not really like a radar, but you kind of like sense his annoying presence in the west part of town over in Gnome Town.
I always know where he is. Now it'll piss him off so much. I'm gonna go find him.
You go out to find Ernest. Is anyone else doing stuff in the old lab?
I think I'm going to hang around and bear witness. I'll probably climb up to the second floor so I could look down on the boat.
Sure. As you look down at the boat, you watch the two Warforged building it. Karn, roll me. Oh, this is gonna be. Roll me just a wisdom check.
I need help.
Sure.
I'll roll
Do you have-
right, but I
you
need
have
to
roll
add
die?
a modifier.
Add plus 4.
Plus what?
Plus 4.
That's going to be a total of 7.
Okay. Nothing really stands out. You do see that the engine that you had charged for Roar does have a faint glow as it's kind of fixated near the floorboards of the boat. It pulses with yellow and red and blue and white, kind of just shimmering between different colors. Roar, you continue your work, approaching rapidly, because what is time to a Warforged? The moment of truth. where you finish the final few phrases of Runic later in that evening. Leah, you observe this exchange. You mentioned back to Adanu that G, capital G, paladins, clerics, guidance boats. There's 3 warforged in a garage and a paladin who's trying to help. We're going to pull away from and soon to be music. We will possibly, maybe, we'll see. We're going to pull away from the old lab and move back eastward to Cherokee Anchorage. Biff, I believe last game you had heard about the fire and had begun searching the anchorage for your recently made friend, who you know is Verdi's close friend, Vanya.
Indeed.
Let's see. So I believe you know where the Half Moon Court is. Do you head off in that direction, or do you ask around to try to find Vanya's whereabouts?
Biff goes straight to the Half Moon Court.
Half Moon Court? Okay. Bones. When you departed from Vanya's apartment, which direction did you go?
Left. Straight towards Thorax Forge. Because I have to stop in first to borrow a sword.
All right. Biff and Bones, please give me a perception check, both. Just to see if you pass like ships in the night. 21. 24. So, Biff, you're heading southeast. Bones, you're heading northwest. And the two of you lock eyes along the way. Biff, you see Bones is moving with Tabaxi's speed. That's nothing new. But you do know that she's off the clock, and she's kind of booking it.
Biff will kind of pointedly run in her way. Bones, where are you going?
I'm going to do stuff. Come with me.
Wait, no, there was a fire.
Yeah, we're helping with that. Come on.
Oh, you know about? Okay. And Biff, still doesn't know what's going on, but is following Bones, because apparently she does.
All right, Biff, you're pretty fast yourself. Bones, with Biff in tow, you bolt. You head toward the grand stone gate, enter into the market ward, and from there, you begin climbing buildings. It's what you do. Biff, this is not your first rodeo. You have done this dance with this cat before. She's moving at a brisk pace, and I didn't say a brisk clip. And even with your monk training and your athleticism, it's a little bit difficult to keep up. But you prevail. Bones. After a few hops and a few wall kicks, casting a few shingles off along the way, you end up landing and tumbling before your father's forge. And by tumbling, I mean just a rolling roll.
Yeah, I was gonna run in.
You all but Kramer slide into the forge. You find
All
Thorak
but?
is behind the counter hammering. All but. Jerry. You find Thorak is in the forge. He's working away. You are naturally stealthy. He does not seem to notice you as you first enter.
I need to borrow a sword really quick. I'll return it this afternoon.
Hey, bring it back, lass.
I will.
Or don't. He just goes back to hammering as you take just a standard short sword off the wall.
I'll take 2.
You take 2 short swords. Hold on. Bring that one back.
I will bring them both back, I promise.
Okie dokie. Be back before sundown. Or don't. You're an adult.
Love you. Bye. And then she's just gonna dart out again and head back towards the old lab.
You hear in the distance, "Love you, cat!" As he calls out after you. Hey, I got feelings about you, whatever. As you bolt after Bones, leaving Thorak behind as you bolt and make your way toward the old lab. It is a bit of a distance. You guys are fast, but Alina's a little bit quicker when it comes to finding towhead brats. Alina, you find Ernest. He is not in his small clothes anymore, but he is dressed casually for the day. You find him in a somewhat secluded corner during the festival, in an area sort of away from the games, kind of shady, kind of quiet. He appears to be playing some kind of game with an elderly mustached gnome with gray skin. The mustached gnome is quickly moving cups to the left and right, and Ernest is kind of thumbing under his lip, looking over the cups. Eventually, the cups come to a stop, and the carney presents all 3 cups. All right, now go ahead and pick the one you think has the bead. And he reaches out, he goes to touch it, and the older gnome kind of scoffs. You only get one choice. You sure it's that one? Ernest moves his hand to the middle and decisively picks up the center cup. That's a whole lot of nothing, pal. Ah, damn. All right, 2 out of 3.
No, Ernest, I need your help. Come on, please.
Huh? Who? Oh, hold that thought. And he goes to stand the carney. Right, hold on. And Ernest begins to fish out several silver pieces before plopping them down on the table. I'll be back. I'm going to be back for that. Ernest then looks up to you, dusts himself off. Good to see you again, Talon.
Hello. Okay, so Roar, one of my Warforged friends, is building a giant-ass boat in the old lab. He said he needed guidance. It seems
so
like
at the mention of big-ass boat in lab, he begins to grin. And it's like, does like that motion to proceed continue?
That seems like something you would be fascinated by.
It sounds like a lot of fun fitting a whole boat inside of a building. I mean, not like the mooring supply buildings.
No, like a little lab. It takes up most of the floor.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, sure. Calm down.
Why was this not done in a mooring building?
This is with Alina.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so
Alina will stride back to the old lab. She's not that far away.
So, Ernest hefts up his belt and follows you back to the old lab. You get back to the old lab a little while before Bones arrives. You make your way inside, and Ernest kind of cackles, looking at the giant-ass boat. How the hell did you fit this in here? It's like a ship in the boat. How are you going to get it out?
Magic.
Oh, yeah, should have known. Right, magic. It's the answer to all of our problems in the modern age.
I really would like to see Crosp see the giant boat in his lab, to be honest. I feel like that's a certain level of mischief that I would like to see in the world.
It's not his lab anymore.
That's true. He picked up all his stuff and moved to the lighthouse. Lucky son of a bitch.
I just assumed that the lease was still in his name.
Ernest just kind of shrugs. He takes a few steps back and moves his thumb and forefinger into a 90-degree angle and twists the wrist to frame it with his other thumb and forefinger, creating like a square. He takes a few feet back, looks over the boat and inside the building, twists and kind of pans until Roar is in the frame with his smithing tools, and nods. Yeah, I could probably recreate that. A little bit of illusion here and there. And he nods. Yeah, I can show him later.
Ah, fantastic.
I'll let you know his reaction. So you're the tin man with the guy who needs the thing, right? He kind of plods over to Roar.
Yes.
He rubs his chin, looks at the boat. Tell me, friend. Blood, sweat, tears, and a ton of gold. This looks like a rather substantial financial investment. Hate to see it all go to waste.
That is why I need some guidance.
That's all I need, pal. Thereby, by the power invested in me by Kol Koran of all things mercantile and contractually obligating. My lord, Kol, grand benefactor and part-time sugar daddy. Please see too that my ally here finds his financial investment and work not go in vain. In the name of profit, I bless thee, Roar E Pond. He wiggles his fingers, and you are granted guidance. Every so often you see Ernest kind of pull down and make a hand gesture, present his holy symbol, mutter something under his breath. But you feel, as you get back to work, just this surge of inspiration, as though these ideas and concepts and just intrusive thoughts begin to worm their way into your work. You begin to remember concepts from your early days in the Lyceum. They weren't that long ago, but things that you thought you had forgotten begin to unearth themselves. You begin to toy and play with the idea of the giant language. You don't know it, but you know of it. And you find some of your runic work begins to grow more creative, more loose and limber, like finding workarounds to problems that you thought were insurmountable. You find flexibility in the script that wasn't there before. You find resources that you didn't think were available as you proceed with your inscription. Ernest remains nearby, watching, guiding, and occasionally shooting the shit with Galleon.
All right. So that's a D4 to the check.
It's going to be a D4 added to the check when we make the check.
Okay.
Alina, you begin to play on your lutes, keeping the Garage Boys company as an onlooker helps and two guys do all the work. Just like a union job.
It's like every other job in the port, yeah.
Every other job in the port. So, while this is going on and, the minutes go by, turn into a half hour, Bones, you arrive at the old lab. You hear the sound of a rollicking tune. You hear the dulcet tones of Alina as some singing is had, and the less dulcet tones of a gravelly, throaty warforged trying to sing the Gilnean folk songs while knowing only half the words.
Yeah, Bones is just gonna duck in. Holy shit, there's a whole ass boat in here. Okay, that's a thing. Cool. Karn?
I am Karn.
Fantastic. Come with me. We have a thing that we need to go do.
Okay.
Thank you.
No persuasion needed.
There's just a momentary pause, and then Karn just stands up straight, heads back down the stairs.
All right.
I like how Bones is just like, yeah, we're going.
Okay.
Get your stuff, we're going. Okay.
Karn pauses, picks up his spear by the door. This one is ready.
Fantastic. We're going to Zilris's Landing by boat, and hopefully you can help us with that.
These ones have a boat?
Different boat. A boat that is not in a tiny-ass lab. That is not actively being worked on. theoretically.
A boat that is free.
I mean, I might have to pay some money for it, but we'll see. And then Bones will just start heading towards the docks. She will take the low ground for now, knowing that Karn is not able to climb buildings.
I mean, not quietly. So, the three of you make your way from the old lab. Biff shortly behind Bones, Karn a little ways behind Biff.
Hello, Biff.
Hello, Karn. Biff, assume you know what the hell is going on?
This one has no idea whatsoever.
I'll tell you on the boat.
But there will be a boat, and this one enjoys boats.
Karn enjoys boats. I forgot Karn enjoyed boats.
It is the flip out boat?
No, that one is inside the workshop. Karn offers no further explanation.
No, because Biff, of course, thinks that it's folded up. There's no reason to explain anything.
So the three of you make your way eastward, southeastward, back toward Tiriki Anchorage. It's a bit of a trek. During all this time, Verdi, you were given a task. As Bones left to head out to find a sword and a druid, and found a friend along the way. Verdi, what are you up to?
Verdi needs to find a boat.
All right.
Verdi's gonna head to the docks. Would they know of any docks that are primarily, like, from the Commission?
So in Tiriki Anchorage, they are mostly managed by the locals. A lot of these sailing in Tiriki Anchorage follows the shore, as not to enter the deep water of Arabag's domain. These are boats that are connected to the nearby fishing colonies, the nearby farms on the outskirts of the island. The Magdalena Coconut Farm would have done a lot of their coconut trading by boat, if not for the sore situation of their shoreline. So they vary, but none of them are really commission. They're all independent businesses, more or less. You do know that the large boat, almost like a galleon, the Airgeed, was positioned outside of the noble quarters on the eastmost part of town. But that is a big ship. Big ship. It is commission owned, but it needs a whole ass crew. Go ahead and place yourself on the map. There we go. There's Verdi. So, the area that you're in, is mostly those locally owned boats. Give me a check of some kind. Investigation, history. I'll take investigation and history to see if you know anyone locally.
Alright, I'll go history, because I have a +8 in that. That's a nat 20.
Okay.
We got one in the pool, boys.
There's one in the pool. So, as you make your way toward the shore, you recall Master Tisadai. They do have a friend in the boats. There's an associate of theirs who essentially ferries cubs, small creatures, baby stegosauruses, creature eggs, mammals, all creatures that are to be trained by the local rangers or turned bred into beasts of burden for the small farming areas in Tiriki. Jezebel Hudson. She is a somewhat swarthy, thick-bodied young woman of, early 30s, who kind of does this whole animal ferrying business with a small crew. She does have a number of larger vessels for carting along, large shipments of creatures, for lack of a better word. But you do know that there are multiple boats under her purview.
So she would probably be the best bet, either to borrow or pay for a boat to get across.
Yeah, and you are close with Tis and I. This is the one person who you think you could use your connection to him to get your way, essentially. You got a foot in the door with this one.
Alright, well then I will seek her out, go to that area where they generally dock, and roll some dice to see if I can convince anybody to give me a boat.
All
or
right, so you
pay for one.
You make your way to the docks, and you do find that one of the boats that is known to you to belong to her is being moored. Creatures have already been basically pulled out in crates. They look to be cubs of large cat. You see what looks to be like a baby dire wolf. Many of them are what look to be injured. Some hunting accidents. You recognize that one's a bear trap accident. It looks like these creatures are being rehabilitated, possibly even trained afterwards. There's a lot of reclamation projects that are often spearheaded by Hudson and her folks. As you make your way along the pier, you do spot Jezebel herself stepping off of the ship, and it's a medium-sized sailing ship. Looks like it can hold about 12 people. She doesn't immediately notice you. You don't really have a rapport with this person.
I'll get
Quick
her
question.
attention. Yeah?
Is Natasha with you?
Oh, yeah.
Natasha's by your side. All right, so you reach out to try to get their attention. They kind of cup their hand to their brow and look in your direction. They look at you quizzically, and then they see your cat. Jezebel is a medium-sized woman, 5 foot, long brown hair tied in these thick braids behind her head. Her tan face is covered in freckles. And she's got kind of a rugged swarthiness to her. Well, hello, stranger.
The character knows the name, but I forgot his name.
Her name is Jezebel Hudson.
Her name is Jezebel.
Her name is Jezebel Hudson.
I forget the other guy's name.
You know him as Alexander Tizanai.
Okay. Well, Verdi will explain to them that they have worked. Well, say hi, and that they have worked with Tizanai, and that there's kind of a little bit of an emergency to get to Zilrus's landing, and is wondering if he could either pay or borrow a boat.
Okay, so you're up front. You mentioned payment first, borrowing second. Hudson looks you over, looks your cat over, and you see there's a little touch of mischief on her face. Roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Oh, I'll need advantage. That is as an 18 on die, but it is actually a 17 because he has another 1 to persuasion.
So you begin to explain the situation. You almost let slip too much information. And there are several moments where she kind of just lifts up one somewhat calloused hand to get you to condense and speak, not slowly, but get to the point quickly. And she lives with you. Well, you don't seem like much, but Your cat's got honest eyes. Tell you what. You front me 30 gold pieces, and I'll let you borrow the ship for the day. But if you wreck my boat, I'm going to tear you open. Quite literally. And I'm going to kick T's and I's ass.
Oh, don't bring him into this. This is on me.
Oh, no. You wanted to name drop the old man.
Well, I mean,
30 gold pieces. Don't wreck my boat. And let me pet your cat.
Deal.
All right. She kneels down and she begins to pet Natasha behind the ears. And as she does it, Natasha, freezes up and her eyes cross. And she begins to, beat her leg rapidly as Hudson just finds the sweet spot behind her ear. She's a good little kitty. She is, yo. She stands and she holds her hand up to you.
I hand over 30 gold.
It's not a handshake, but that'll do.
Oh, but Verdi is socially awkward and stupid.
All right, bring it back. Ranger Vidar, right? Yep, got your name, got your face. You won't be easy to forget.
No, I'm not.
She inclines her head, gives you a wink, and follows after her entourage.
Verdi awkwardly stands up docks, tapping his fingers together, and has no way to communicate to anybody that he got a boat.
You got a boat, Verdi?
So he will awkwardly stay there and hope Bones finds him, because he sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh boy. I mean, your skin kind of reflects the sunlight anyway, so you're kind of
if he has his hood down, but it's up so he doesn't get sunburned.
In Yanzuru, you're kind of like a mirror signal.
Just stand on top of some boxes and T-pose. They'll find you in no time.
He's not hard. He's not going to T-pose.
All right. Let's see. So, where the hell were we? Yeah, Verdi, you went into your thing. Bones, you were heading back eastward to try to catch up and see what was going on and catch up in Tiriki. This is around the time that you would arrive at the gates with your entourage.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm just heading. I'm gonna go immediately looking for Verdi at the docks because that's where I said to meet.
All right. So, it doesn't take you long. You and Biff and Karn have disgusting perception checks, so why even bother rolling? Between the three of you, you find those buffed-off deer-like horns, the gold glitter of the brass caps atop them, signaling you from a distance.
Yeah,
the sun is high.
There's a reason Bones was like, I'll find you.
The sun is high, and there is a single person standing on the docks with Cat by their side, just really awkwardly, shoulders slumped, looking around, waiting pensively. You find him.
This one sees a Verdi.
Fantastic, that's who we're meeting.
Does the Verdi have the boat?
Hopefully.
I thought the boat was in the building.
The boat is in the shop, yes.
Different boat, Biff. There were two different boats.
Ah, the puzzle comes together.
One boat at a time.
We're just having this conversation as we approach Verdi.
Yep.
Really, it's going to take life one boat at a time. So you guys catch up with your ranger friends standing beside a medium-sized sailing vessel. The lower cabin seems to be on the large side. It's like a cargo ship, but smaller. Fairly well kept. The wood is clean. There's some barnacles stuck to the side, but which boat among us? Bones, as you look it over, you do see that this is a sailing ship that is meant to have a crew. There are 4 of you.
these ones going to get more people?
Hadn't planned on it.
Ah,
Can you turn into something big enough to pull this across the bay?
I look at the boat and kind of like, I don't have lips to purse, so I just kind of like narrow my eyes at the boat and think.
You turned into dinosaurs before, did you not?
Dinosaurs don't swim very well. This one has an idea. This one requires rope. Long rope.
We can do that.
Okay. I know between all their adventurers pack, they probably have at least 2 coils of 50-foot rope. So he's going to take those, tie them together at one end, and then with Bones and Verdi's help, since they're most likely to know how to do knots, he's going to make sure that the knot is very strong and make sure that it's tied to the boats at the front on either side with some very secure knots. Like,
Yeah, give me
very
a-
secure.
Let's see. The other three of you are dexterous. Give me a sleight of hand check for Biff, Bones, and Birdie.
Ooh,
That's a 15.
22.
What? No, I'm using
Wow.
cat's luck on that.
Hey.
That's better.
Okay.
that's much better.
So everything above 15, great, good to know. Noted. I have noted that for later. The number's 15. Cool. So you tie that to the mast, to some rails. You kind of spread the knots out to the front of the ship. Just so you're not pulling part of the ship off. It's anchored fairly well as far as you can tell. Karn, you've got some length of rope. It is firmly affixed to the ship.
Excellent.
Birdie does
Wait here a moment.
make
And
a
I'm
point.
going to... Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Verdi does make a point to tell everybody to please be as careful as possible with the boat, because he may or may not have agreed to some things.
Well, of course we will be careful with the boat. We do not plan to trash the boat.
I immediately jump off the side of the boat with one hand on, kind of sliding down the rope.
Crisploosh.
I'm just going to check the water depth real quick. I've got rope so I can climb my way back on top of the boat. But I just want to make sure that it's pretty deep where we're anchored.
So as you sink to the bottom of the ocean floor, you quickly are running out of rope. The piers are attached to a series of bluffs. Maybe like a 5-foot drop from the pier out to the water. And down below, you just see darkness beyond.
Perfect. I then haul myself up back onto the boat using the rope. This one is satisfied with the depth of the water.
This one is not satisfied with you centrally jumping in the water. Will you not warn someone to do that?
I mean, he's Karn. I'm pretty sure he doesn't need to breathe, so worst comes to worst, we could fish him out eventually.
That is fine. The Biff will be getting very familiar with the depth of the water very soon. We are not secure. These ones are not secured to the dock, are we? Are these ones?
I know enough about boats to make sure that we're not secured to the dock, right, DM?
Yeah, you guys are moored. You go and you quickly unmoor the boat. Just a quick couple of flicks. You undo the rope and you pull it in.
The Biff. This one has an important role for this one.
Oh?
How would the Biff like to pull a boat?
Biff has never pulled a boat of this size. Usually a canoe or some such.
Excellent. The Biff should get into the water and put the end of the loop of the rope in the Biff's mouth.
Biff is staring at
I
Karn.
love that Biff knows nothing about any of this mission.
Darn, do you have a plan, or is Biff going to swim like this?
Biff is really fucking strong, guys. I'm just putting
I
it out
give
there.
them all a thumbs up.
No, do not simply do that. You will explain this.
So as we smash cut to Biff in the water with the rope in his...
Killing and cut straight to Biff, dog and paddling.
I bet you're all wondering how I got here.
This one has a plan. This one thinks the Biff will enjoy it. If all goes according to plan. The Biff trusts this one, yes?
Unfortunately. So yeah, Biff's gonna go ahead and follow those directions.
So as we smash cut to Biff in the water, open mouth. Biff, the water is like briny, salty, and you kind of have no choice but to taste it as you are holding a rope in between your teeth. It's surprisingly warm. The water's quite tropical, but the choppiness and the cloudiness of the water makes it unsettlingly dark beneath you. You can't see the ocean's floor. But you tread water like the best of them.
I'll then give each end of the rope secured to the boat a quick tug. This tug means right. This tug means left. Is the Biff ready?
As ready as Biff will be.
The Biff is a grand and majestic creature. And I clap my hands together, hold out my druid focus, and I polymorph him into a killer whale.
I love it.
Okay. Biff, you feel your stomach kind of like twist into knots as your body balloons up and up, expanding in all directions. Your clothes don't rip as they kind of meld into your body, and your skin grows darker and slicker, almost rubbery.
It's just an Animorphs cover.
You feel your body has changed, and everything looks so very distant with your new special eyes as you assume the form of a large cetacean.
Killer whale! Exclamation point! Biff does his best to turn around and stare at Karn.
So something I'm obliged to point out as I'm... Oh, good. So unlike Wild Shape, Polymorph makes you adopt the mental stats of the animal you morph into.
Oh, thanks.
So as a reference, a killer whale's intelligence is 3. So, you know, they can still communicate. Biff still has his knowledge of, you know, friends, and they're on a mission, and hopefully the tugs mean left and right. But as he looks to Karn will raise one hand in front of him from the bow of the ship. Swim.
Yes, Biff swimming.
All right, Biff whale. Biff, you feel strong. You feel fast in the water. We configure permissions. Biff is observer. Wait, hold on. There's actually a tool for this. I can't wait to use this. Biff Shiva.
Are you going to polymorph him into...
Polymorph into killer whale. Biff. This is your character sheet now.
Thanks.
Because Karn just slides in.
So, Biff, you start tugging and pulling the boat at a speed of 65 feet per round, just bolting forward. You quickly put the shore behind you as you make your way across the bay. Let's see, one of these hexes is normally... 2 of these hexes is usually a day of travel, if I'm not mistaken. So, to get from there to there... Oh yeah, it barely takes you any time at all. At the speed of a whale, anyway. It takes you the better part of 3 hours as you cover the distance between the bay and the shore. In the distance, you see the salty water turn into a channel that feeds a river deeper into the jungles. And soon enough, the shoreline begins to manifest in the distance. This late in the afternoon, the mist is gone. It's clear sailing, clear skies all the way toward the distant shore. You guys don't land upon the Magdalena Coconut Farm, but you do land along the shoreline some miles away from it. There is no pier as you guys approach the river that feeds into the jungle.
So during this time, I would assume that Bones and Birdie both have maps of the area. So every hour, Biff would revert back to his normal form, and Karn would check on him, make sure he's okay before casting Polymorph again with Biff's consent.
Biff, do you consent to being morphed?
This is uncomfortable feeling, but Biff will do it for the team.
Biff will do it for the team. All right, yeah, you end up casting.
This one would do it this oneself if this one could.
What CR can you turn into right now, Karn?
Oh, I like CR. I don't know if I've even unlocked CR1.
What level
What are you?
Karn could have turned into a whale this whole time, and he's just an idiot.
I am Circle of the Forged. So I've got just the very basic wild shape requirements.
Max CR. Are you level 9? You're level 9.
Yeah, we're level 9.
You can turn into a CR3 creature. You can turn into the whale if you so choose.
Since when?
Looking at circle form, Circle of the Forge. Yeah,
I found it. Okay. Yeah, I could do that. Well,
you can go up. It's Mish, you can go above CR1. I'll let you do that. It's part of your kit.
I was looking at something different, and I didn't see that I had a chart that said that showed what CR I could transform into.
I know.
So
I'm just haranguing you, friendo.
Yeah.
It's not as good as Circle of the Moon, but it is better than Circle of Circle. Circle of Bronze.
God, then you know what? After that first experiment with Biff, I would invite him onto the boat.
You pull him onto the deck, you swan dive off.
No, Biff's gonna indignantly say like, no, Biff will continue. You stay there and navigate. Biff do this. Biff has started and Biff will finish.
I'll navigate and you both can pull the boat.
This one, it does require this one to use this one's magic to turn other ones into animals.
All right, so are we rolling are we flipping a coin to see who animals?
Well, so this is slightly gamey. Would we cut off an hour if 2 killer whales was pulling this boat?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
All right.
You guys going to be dashing. It's going to be loud and violent.
We ain't
if
subtle.
you choose to do so.
We ain't subtle.
You ain't subtle.
I don't want to ruin the boat, but yeah. So that way I can burn one wild shape and then 2 of my level 3 slots to get us there within that amount of time.
Okay, so you transform Biff a second time, and then you transform yourself. Is that
Yes.
my take? All
Yes.
right, so you swan dive into the water, transform into a whale after turning Biff into a whale, and now you have 2 fucking whales pulling a Disney princess and a devil child across the goddamn water. There is a wake
One
of
whale
waves.
looks normal, the other one is mechanical.
The rudder of the boat is cavitating. You didn't think that was possible with a sailing ship, but there's bubbles as the water just kind of combusts behind you. You make a lot of noise, you make a lot of splashing, and you approach the shore an hour sooner than you planned. Verdi and Bones, as you lurch with the boat, I need you both to make me perception checks.
Oh no.
Bones hates the water.
Bones, this is fucking terrifying.
Bones is like claws out, like just next to the mast. Like she's not clinging to it, but she's clinging to it.
Just hands on your sword, and the other hand on
actually, hold
the
on.
boat.
Yeah, she's not clinging to it. She's seriously clinging to it, though.
Seriously clinging to it.
I rolled an 18 for deception, so.
You're just holding on tight.
So
Holding on tight. Perception, please.
25.
25.
Thank
Bones, have you rolled perception?
I rolled a natural 1 on my perception check.
Okay, cool, because I was about to ask for disadvantage, but we'll stick with the 1. Because you're scared.
No,
this is frightening.
I was explaining that 1 by saying Bones is like, no. Bones has already been in 1 shipwreck, had a parent die in a shipwreck. She is not about this, but she is about this.
Bones, as familiar memories begin to put you into not a very good head, you are recalling the stories you've heard, the last shipwreck you were in, and you're imagining just what Sindar may have gone through. As your conscious mind tells you, my friends are pulling me, my friends got this, even if I fall in the water, Karn's got me, Biff's got me, even fuck Verdi's got me if I gotta stand on his head. But something deep inside of you is twisting and cold and icy and scared. And you don't really pay attention to much, except for just how taut those ropes are, and just how much the floorboards are creaking. Verdi, as the shore rapidly approaches, your keen, floppy and cow-like ears detect a faint wailing of some kind in the distance, far, far away. At first you think it's the wind.
Excuse me?
You don't hear that, though. That is a hallucination.
It sounds like a boss encounter coming.
Do I know that sound?
Roll a nature check.
Oh, that was a 3 on die. Can I use the 1 in the pool?
Yeah.
Yours.
Oh, that's an 8. Nature
On die?
is 16.
16, not bad. You recognize that it is a creature, some kind of beast, some kind of sea creature. The call is strange and ululating, like a whale in the distance. Not like a whale, like a cetacean, but like a call, a cry.
It's not a fucking sea fury, is it?
So, as that is kind of crossing your mind, the coast rapidly approaches. Nothing quite, bothers you. You do see a number of seagulls flying overhead as you turn your attention toward the location. In fact, your keen ranger eyes in the clear sky and the sun above, you see that there is a swarm of seagulls in the distance, kind of circling something. You put that behind you as the coastline rapidly approaches. Biff and Karn, the coastline rapidly approaches. You begin to slow your roll and do the whale version of coasting for the last 15 or so minutes. Eventually, your wild shape and your polymorph begins to fade away. If you are, as you transform, quickly overtaken by the boat as you hold onto the rope.
Gus is gonna hold on with his teeth out of spite.
Okay. Give me a strength check.
I'm gonna roll a wisdom saving throw.
Give me an athletics check, Biff, as you hold on to the rope.
15.
15. All right.
Karn would end up shifting. Oh wait, no, Karn can wild shape for longer than that.
How could I not roll wisdom saving throws from my damn sheet? Everything else
should be 4 hours.
Oh God, I really should have reviewed my wild shape before. Oh, wasted so many resources.
Tisk tisk.
I'm sorry, but it is what it is. Since we got off to a rough start, if you want to just fluff it and say that you were the whale, you can do that.
Oh no, I think Biff is committed to this, and I owe it to him to commit to it as well.
Biff is committed to the bit, so I mean, are you gonna stick with it?
I kind of feel like it would end up being a Karn thing to do anyway.
Yeah.
It's an inherent thing to just be like, I'm gonna turn my friend into a whale. That'll work.
Now I want to be the whale.
Resources. Oh wait, I can turn into a whale too. Let me help. Eat more resources.
And I can do it longer. Oh, I did not plan this out very well.
All right, so Biff, with a 15, you hold onto the rope and you are being keel-hauled. Bones, you are aware that Biff is being keel-hauled, and you start to haul him up into the boat. The boat slows little by little. Karn, you just kind of use your body's momentum to tug the boat. Bones, it doesn't take you much. Biff he is a hefty lad, but this is the catfish situation all over again. You're getting him back in that boat.
Pretty sure I have a block and tackle as part of my gear, so.
He ain't that heavy. He's not that heavy, and he's holding his own. So you pull him up. Biff, you are waterlogged, but you survived the trial of whale.
Biff flops on a dock like a fish suffocating.
Like a fish suffocating. As you guys kind of not crash, but come to a stop near the shallows, the boat rests after kind of bumping and brushing a sandbar. Not crashing into it, but kind of thumping and rocking as you guys come to a landing about 1 hex away from Xylurus's landing.
I guess we'll drop anchor.
I don't think it's going anywhere.
I feel like, given that we promised your friend we'd bring it back, we should drop anchor.
You guys drop anchor. You find an iron anchor in the cabin below. You toss it overboard, tie it to the railing, and have the boat essentially locked down. I need to pause for 5 minutes. You guys want to roleplay amongst yourselves? Feel free. I'll be back soon.
I'm going to just kind of like nudge up to the side of the boat and offer a ride to anyone further onto the sandbar.
Yeah, Bones is going to take anything that keeps her out of the water.
Yeah, Verdi will attempt to whale surf a Karn.
We're gonna get back and be like, oh, it was a pretty eventful day, you know. Went on a boat, whale surfed.
If I had looked at the right information and looked at my actual druid thing instead of a generic druid thing when I was thinking about this plan. Oh, I could have done this so much better. But this was so much funnier.
There's also a trip
This
back.
is better.
And
This is
the
better.
trip back on top of, I mean, you know better.
No, we
You'll
know
learn
better.
it.
Yeah.
That's all.
You involve people in your fun. That is always the best way to go about it.
I'm almost mad that Bones rolled so well on that deception check to not be clinging to the mast actively.
I like that Karn is so dedicated to this expedition and he has no clue what they're doing.
None whatsoever.
He's just like, oh, Verdi's here? It must be a good thing. And then he's gonna find out what it is, and he's gonna be like, why?
We're all going to Zilris's Landing? Alright, that sounds fun. I don't know why we're going, but we're going. We have a boat. I can turn my friend into a whale. We're doing this. I feel like
Karn just is like, this is a beach day, right?
Dude, I feel like Karn has had so much like recent existential crisis that this is his low key like mental break moment where just like, yeah, let's do it. I don't know why we're doing it. I don't care. Let's just do it. He needs something nonsensical to ground him.
Grab some Chinese food to snack on.
Oh man.
So we're 1 hex away. Is that going to be a full day's travel?
Well,
Yeah, hopefully not.
I've got one polymorph left. And one wild shape left.
Rob's actually said that it's 2 hexes travel for a day. If I remembered earlier correctly. I could be remembering wrong.
Okay. We'll see.
I think 2 sounds
Heck.
better.
Oh. I feel like so long as you have a druid in the party, you can always hack the shit out of your travel time.
Depends on the setting and what's going on. We can only do as much as we do in Shadows because someone else was playing a class that could do polymorph. And specifically because Konani is a badass and has twin spell. So with all the math and shit, we can literally spend 7 hours flying with giant eagles before we have to worry about anything.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
For what it's worth, when like Biff, like I wanna be like, well then, check to see how Biff really is. But no, he kind of likes it. It's just, it's a weird experience.
This is kind of why Karn like chose him for this role. Like he figured out of anyone, Biff is going to be the most up to a silly adventure as a whale.
Doing that child thing, like, no, I hate it. And when you try to take it from him, like, no, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Hey.
Yeah, like, yeah. about being a whale. I was explaining how he he was acting like a child when in that he was complaining about it, but as soon as Karn threatened to take it away, he was like, "No, stop that! I'm here. I'm doing it."
Liam does that all the time when we put on something on the TV, and he's like, "No, not that." And then we're like, "Okay." We start to turn. He goes, "No." Yep. Oh man, I found a Vanya meme.
We gotta have Biff do that to somebody. Next time we fight in the water, an army in the water.
Hey, my PC fixed itself.
Hey.
Very nice. Bear with me for just another minute or two.
Yeah, it's fine. I gotta get myself resituated. I am so glad my PC's working again. I wasn't gonna get good sleep tonight thinking that I had to do troubleshooting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it sorted itself out.
I read the title of that MP4 and thought it said, "Let me see your Warframe."
I swear, nothing is afraid of a frog screaming. It's all like, what the fuck sound did you just make as they hop away?
Did it get fucky?
Nope. Okay. Where are my music tracks? All right. So, coming back into game. Is everyone here? Everyone's here, right?
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, right. Excellent. So, you guys lay anchor and make the wet traversal from waist-deep water onto the shore.
I believe Karn offered
A lift.
so
As I kind of beach myself onto the shore to get my crew as far inland as I can.
All right, you create a slippery, spongy platform. I'm not going to make you guys roll for standing on top of slippery cetacean hide, but do know that this is slippery and hidey.
I mean, I think all of us are dex-based.
You're all dex-based, so fuck me, I guess. You make your way off of Karn's back, avoiding his blowhole and his snoot, to land into damp sand without waterlogging yourselves. Well done. You see there are a number of small crabs all along the coast. They skitter and dart off away from you as you make your way inland. Karn, I assume you pop out of your form?
Yeah.
All right.
He just beaches himself.
Wait, I forgot. Karn, you're a mechanical whale. You're a big, rusty bucket whale with, like, big old stupid teeth. Radical. Not slippery at all. You guys are good. Yeah, you're a mechanical whale. I forgot all your stuff is mechanical.
Yeah, I'm slippery, but I've got like armored plates and
Yeah.
rivets, so you know
You got, like, rivets
and
and
footholes.
Yeah, there's footholds, so you guys are good. You shift back into your smaller form, your body collapsing into itself, defying the laws of thermodynamics utterly. As you make your trek inland, you make your way into the jungle, through the dense thicket, into deeper and darker and greener horizon. Passing your way along the natural moss and rubber trees and acacias. Bones and Verdi are the first to notice as you start to see oaks and evergreens that are incredibly out of place as you spend the next hour or so traversing your way towards Iris' landing. You begin to see flowers of all colors, peculiar and strangely shaped mushrooms. Every so often you see a butterfly or some other small mote of light just kind of flit around from the distance as you all become aware that you are not just entering the forest, but entering a realm, as this entire area appears to be being affected by the energies bleeding from amberberries. Though the sun was high in the sky when you entered, as you look at your backs and through the canopy breaks, you see the sky is golden. You see the trees are starting to shed amber and gold and red leaves. As you approach the massive skid mark and crater that leads to Zalaris' body, I'm going to activate the scene. You can place yourselves on the bottom of the map.
If it would load.
If it would load.
Oh, it's just doing a thing where it's like you don't have any tokens with vision in this.
Yeah, you gotta add.
Oh, that's good.
token first.
There we go.
So does that mean we're all adding a token so we can all see?
Let me see. Restrict visibility? I think everyone should be able to see now. Fantastic. As you approach the mound leading to the remains of Zalaris, you see a number of scaffolds and satchels and items have been left behind. It looks like some kind of work had been done in this area recently. compared to the days before, most of the tools have been removed, save for some items that are currently stuck, wedged, and jammed in the dragon's carcass. Underneath one of the remains of a long wing, you see the diminutive form of an elderly woman standing and quietly speaking among a series of figures. You recognize Garabik and Purden, the Fey investigators and ambassadors that Alina had been wining and dining, as well as Bones. You see a giant mouse. Well, I mean, it's not giant, but it's small folk sized. They have a book and a scholarly appearance to them. They appear to be looking somewhat sternly between the two Harangon, and then toward who you recognize as Edith.
Oh,
Hello,
are
everyone.
these ones for the rabbits?
Something like that. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, again.
We're not looking for them.
You see multiple ears perk, Bones, as you call out hello again. Purden is the first to lift a hand and look in your direction. Garabik second follows afterwards, and "Oi, hello over there." He looks a little bit defensive, as this group is now growing in size. The mouse in the back closes their book and takes a few steps forward, standing between the two Harangon to look in your direction. "All right, what's all this then?"
Oh, we just needed to speak with our friend Edith for a moment before she left.
Edith pauses to glance in your direction. Walking stick in hand, she looks back toward the Fey folk and back toward you and tilts her head quizzically. You see her knuckles kind of wrap around her walking stick as she studies you for several long moments.
Yeah.
She kind of passes a glance to Verdi, looking confused, and you can tell right off the bat, she's suspicious.
I wave.
Oh, hello, child, and the good-looking one.
I can't move my token. Is the scene paused?
No, are you just...
You're measuring.
it?
You're
You're using the
oh,
measuring
what
tool.
the hell?
Yeah, you gotta use the people icon.
There we go.
All right, so as Biff runs forward, she casts fire. All right, you guys approach, and she takes a step backward.
Bones is gonna hold up her hands like, not threatening.
Edith, we explained to Bones a situation, and she has proposed an idea.
Sorry, ignore that.
Ignoring. Edith kind of looks to you, Verdi, and then looks to Bones and looks quizzically.
How exactly did your folk get here? It's quite a distance from home.
You see her fingers wrap around her cane. She squints at the Warforged.
Biff has no idea what Biff is doing here. Do not let it.
Magic bullshit.
Yeah, that. Speaking of magic bullshit, I'll take off my gorget and kind of hold it out. I know people are after you. This protects you from magical detection.
Bones, roll me a persuasion check,
Sure.
as Edith is completely flummoxed with the situation. And first give me an insight check.
Sure.
Insight first.
Oof. Ouch.
Okay, well, she's not a hard read. She very clearly thinks that you are not who you say you are.
Yeah.
You see that kind of suspicion of someone who's on the run and is questioning everybody, everything. You can go ahead and roll persuasion. Just be aware that she doesn't trust you.
Yep. 23.
You see her fingers kind of soften around the cane, and she looks toward Verdi. Squints a little bit.
So Vanya told you everything then.
She did.
I would have expected you would be able to keep a tight lip.
She looks at Verdi.
You're not much of a talker.
It was mostly Vanya.
It was 100%
Okay, yep.
Vanya.
I know. That's the stutter. I know it's you. All right. So, all right. She takes a step forward. The mouse man in the back. Oh, madam, you know these folk? Yeah, they're from the city. Pardon me. Could I have just a moment, perhaps, with these folk? All right then. We will be closing the portal shortly. I can't to get this thing open forever. Hold that thought, and yeah, just not forever. Right, hold your damn horses, you little wolf rat. I beg your pardon. She takes a step toward you, Bones, and continuing to glance at Verdi, kind of looks between the four of you. She reaches her hand out to the Gorget.
Yeah, hand
keeping
it over.
a distance from you.
Yeah, I don't
She looks
move threatening. I just, like, literally, like, just stretching my arm out, like, here you go.
So, she is half your size. She's a very short, misfortunately sized human. She takes the Gorget in her withered, gnarly hand. Stronger than they look, as she hefts the whole thing up and she looks it over. That's giant, running. She moves her hand to the side and wiggles her fingers, and you see beneath her eyes there's this blue light. She nods at you. I can see the value of something like this. You're better off giving it to the young lady.
She wanted us to offer it to you first. And also offer you a place in New Haven, if you would accept it. Probably not under your name. Might have to, I don't know, change it to Elaine or something, I suppose, but...
She visibly chews, her mouth kind of opening and closing as she thinks the information over. As Karn deletes himself. It's been real. It's been real.
I still see Karn.
I see Karn sideways.
I see
and
Karn
upside down over Biff.
Oh my goodness, Karn. Karn, you can't do me dirty like that. And she looks back toward you, Bones.
I'm honestly touched by your offer. Oh gods, I haven't been shown kindness like that in a long time. I also haven't been exposed to such naivety in such time. Vanya has told you, guys, I would presume not enough.
No, she told me everything.
And despite that, you would still offer that to me.
The one thing I believe about Tikal, more than anything else, is that it is a place to be what you are and not what you were.
Roll me another persuasion check with advantage. She looks the Gorget over.
26.
She holds it close to her.
You know, I really did get quite attached to this particular mask. I like to think of this as the true me. If I had gotten a chance to grow old and fat and withered and kind of adorable in a rustic kind of rough way. Before Ivory, you must be aware of a few things. You change your mind, I don't blame you. I kind of have urges, proclivities. I can try to do my best. I will do my best. But I've done things that I cannot atone for. Understand that's what you are bringing into your town. second thing is, with this, there is a modicum of protection, yes, certainly, certainly. That dusty old bitch in Firewood will not rest knowing that I'm not dead. She knows what her call is. She might not come today or tomorrow, but eventually you're going to have a hag knocking at your door. It might not be in your lifetime, but there will be a risk.
I'm already pissing off a Sararak. Why don't we piss off a hag too?
Oh, we don't talk about that name. No, we do not. So, do not speak that name aloud, please. I would beg you.
Fantastic.
Karn leans over to Biff. This one does not understand what is happening here.
Why are we talking about hags?
Edith casts a glance at Verdi.
They don't know. Just bones.
Okay. Okay. Well, pleased to meet you. My name is Edith Dench, and I'm a career hag.
I am Karn.
How badly does Biff take this information?
Biff, hags are monstrous human creatures from the old country. You know that they are not above certain things. Hell, they delight in terrible behavior. They have a warped sense of idealism, a warped sense of justice. More often than not, everything that you think is pretty, they find ugly. Anything that is joyful, they find as miserable, and vice versa.
There's
They
also
are not...
3 major hags in Gilnean legend.
Gilnean legend does speak of 3 very powerful hags that are essentially the forces of nature come to haunt you. You don't leave your
3.
Which is 3. You don't leave your kids alone in Gilneas. Not by the woods, not when it's cold, not when it's dark.
Alright, so Biff's going to lean over past Karn to see Bones. Bones, you do not take the idea of messing with hags lightly in the old country.
I understand that. I also believe that if children had gone missing in Nyanzaru in the last, I don't know, my lifetime, I'd have probably heard about it, given both my occupation and my background.
Bones, there's a long pause as Edith casts her eyes askance at you. Not in Nyanzaru.
You will vow to me that this behavior is done.
She inclines her head. I find smaller, less cruel deeds can help keep those proclivities away. Since I broke away from my sisters, they made me believe there was no option. I learned after finding my freedom that there are other ways. There's terrible and monstrous ways. But you understand my reluctance, knowing what I've done.
I do.
She inclines her head. Third thing you must know. She glances at the courgette. Once I've taken this, I cannot give this back.
I understand. The reason that I needed it is dead. I murdered him.
Her brows lift just barely. She doesn't seem terribly surprised. She holds it and nods in your direction.
So, it's a gift. It's protection. And maybe a little bit of a reminder.
You could all use reminders. Right. I'm gonna have to cancel my date. Bear with me for a moment, please. She turns away from you, goes to Gorget, and makes her way toward the others who are kind of gathered around the bones. So you can have a quiet conversation. You can hear that she's speaking in Sylvan to the mouse-like entity.
Bones speaks Sylvan.
Mm-hmm. And you hear that she apologizes, and there's a very brief conversation. Oh, Miss Will, it's now or never. You're absolutely sure? Yes, I'm sure. I think I will stay. All right, well, thank you very much for wasting my time, but it's been entertaining. Ah, well. Goodbye to you, too. She turns away, leaving the Harangon behind.
Bones is actually going to move forward.
Well, before Edith returns, as actually she's talking to the Harangon, Biff is gonna turn again to Bone. You are absolutely sure about this?
I'm sure. She gave her word, and don't believe that I am going into this and not keeping a very, very close eye on her.
I am absolutely sure. I trust anything that Vanya trusts.
I'm going to see if Card knows anything about hags.
Yeah, sure. They wear
is a hag?
Oh, no. You know. They wear pointy hats, and they have long, warty noses, and they have black cats, and they stir cauldrons, and they ride.
Those are witches.
Yeah, same thing. Your mental image of a hag is just a bigger, meaner witch.
Hags are witches only.
And I raise my arms to make a bigger motion.
Kind of like a bell shape.
And very clearly able to disguise themselves with glamours. Biff is, like, very clearly not happy about this development. Biff does not know Vanya much, but knows you, LD, and knows you, Bones. Biff will hold you, Verdi. Biff will hold you to the watch.
I will keep the watch. I will have people keep the watch. And if an inkling of things inappropriate come my way, we will be dealing with it. Which she knows.
Biff will be dealing with it.
We will all be dealing with it.
Vanya is a long-time friend. I will vouch for anything for her.
Then Biff is satisfied enough.
Okay.
And that's my promise to you, Biff. I'll hold up a pinky for a pinky promise, even.
Do not attempt to mollify Biff with your pinky promises, he says, even as he goes for it.
Bones nods. I take promises very seriously. Believe me.
Okay.
And I'll call out to our Fae friends. Probably in Sylvan. Can you give my regards to he and let him know that the next time he summons me, I might have something interesting to share with him?
It's the mouse in the back who answers you, and he nods a bit. Are you talking about first hands? Autumn Prince, yeah. I can pass along the message.
Fantastic.
He inclines his head, nods at you, turns his hand toward the water that the dragon's neck is stuck in, wriggles his fingers, and you see the crystal clear water begin to bubble as a light forms beneath the surface. He inclines his head. The Harangon ambassadors at this point both wave as they make their way toward the pond. One by one, hopping into the water with a splash before disappearing from sight. The bubbling fades, the light disperses, and you are left with Edith as the autumn leaves fall. Right, so I'm assuming y'all have discussed how best to dispatch me. I do not blame you. How pray tell, did you get here?
These ones have a boat.
We have a
Oh,
boat. Bones and
Multiple
Karn.
boats.
Bones and Karn say we have a boat, both in very different terms.
y'all had the audacity to push a boat through the Bay of Aramac?
That
I
one
like
is
you.
champion of Aramag.
I like y'all. Y'all are
Yeah,
bold.
I'm sure if Ermac was there, he would let us pass because Biffles is champion.
Again, that Navi yet is starting to show itself. Well, do be sure to show me the way. I can keep up. I may eat this along the way, though, if y'all don't mind. She kind of holds the gorget close.
Fantastic.
All right, so I'm assuming you guys spend no more time at Xylarus's Landing.
I'm gonna pick a weird-looking flower, but then head out.
Weird-looking flower. Roll me a quick nature check.
Yeah, sure.
Rolls. Nature, 11. You do find a weird-looking purple flower with long feather petals and bright yellow stamens that kind of shoot off in different directions. You also notice what appear to be a cluster of red-capped mushrooms, kind of clustered off in the distance. There's a lot of odd mushrooms around here.
Are those mushrooms important? They caught my eye. I'll point them out to the 2 people who know plants. Or 3 people who know plants.
Edith adjusts her spectacles, but does not speak yet.
Can I roll a nature check?
Yeah, sure.
Just gonna roll survival.
It's a 19.
19.
I cast speak with plants. What are you?
Okay, so speak with plants, of course. Biff, you see some red mushrooms. They don't look like much. They look like they might be, an Amanita family, maybe like a psychotropic mushroom or a poisonous mushroom. Verdi, they are not natural mushrooms. You do recognize that they are not quite worldly. They have that odd fey nature to them, which kind of throws off your ability to detect what they are. Something is very strange about them. You can't quite put your finger on it. Karn, as you speak out and speak with the plants, you hear, well, first, they begin to very gently jiggle. They shuffle. They begin to kind of wriggle and vibrate as little spores begin to fall to the ground near them.
Oh.
You hear a multitude of tiny, nasally voices begin to speak up. As the rest of you hear a bunch of tiny, nasally voices speak up.
You don't mind if I eat this on the way? I can't open forever, lady. Thanks for wasting my time. Hello?
Oh, I hate them.
Those would be campestri. No, those are campestris. A swarm of them, actually. They're harmless, but quite annoying.
Cool, let's leave those alone.
Yeah, don't speak too loudly, or rather they'll have to impersonate anything they say in a nasally falsetto.
Nasally falsetto!
Right, can we move?
Mm-hmm.
You're all toad.
Yeah, we're sneaking away.
They start chattering among themselves, mimicking some of the last words that you said, calling out as you leave.
Stick around a while, you stranger! Where you going?
As you guys make with haste to leave this now cursed land.
Incidentally, since we're right here, we don't have to play it out, but Karn is going to say hello to his tree friend before they leave.
Oh yeah, you roll by Old Roots.
Yeah,
you
good.
shoot this shit for a little while.
Yeah.
Old Roots tells you about all the strange creatures that have been coming and going. He's seen a number of entities walk through the area. Some short ones, some big ones. Giant rat, but they walked on two legs. Big, fat, green thing, they think. Not quite sure what green is, but they think it was green. As he recants just what has happened the last couple days.
It just occurred to me. I'm going to describe a Koboloid to him and ask if Old Roots has ever seen something like it cross by here.
Oh, shit. Okay. Roll me... Oh, God. What skill would you like to use to convey this information?
Oh.
Like a wisdom?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be wisdom.
Yeah, just give me a wisdom check.
Yeah, just straight wisdom.
You have a passenger, so roll with advantage.
I'll take that 22.
22. Old Roots informs you. Long before the cats of the Dark Moon settled in these lands, these creatures that you speak about, they were numerous. The small folk, the little fey creatures, the strange ones who worship the moon. For a time, they were plentiful, and then they took refuge in the trees beneath the canopy. And then they left for a while. Around the time that the cats of the Dark Moon arrived, sometime between that aeon and the next, there were some that passed through this way. Small in numbers, but they were different. They were meaner. They marked the trees. They defaced the bushes. They had anger in them. A roving band. They traveled, but the neighboring creatures, the cat folk, the lizard folk, the others did not tolerate the anger and the destruction that they brought with them. Old Roots has not seen them in many, many, many years.
Okay, that was more than I expected.
Okay. So, Old Roots given some information. You guys make your way along the woods toward the shores, toward the open water and the anchored ship. You begin to load up. Edith requests aid to get up onto the boat, as she is short in this form, strong but short. And eventually, I would assume, Karn, you transform back into a whale.
Yes.
Back into a whale you go. You begin to tow the boat as you make your way back across the port. Back across the bay, toward Port Yanzero. Verdi. Well, you guys are booking it at high speed. Not the highest speed. Roll me a perception check.
28.
28. You see that flock of seagulls off in the distance. You do not hear the wail, the ululating cry, but you are certain that there's something underneath that flock of seagulls who are swarming above something. You don't see anything in the water, just the shadow that the seagulls cause, and the fact that they're all gathered around something. You pass by this far, far away from it. You steer clear of it as you make your way back to Port Nyanzuru. So 7 a.m. when you left. 8, 9, 10, 11. Wouldn't you know it? You guys arrived back in town by noon. A little past noon. Almost 1.
Yeah, I was going to say on the way back, Karn would need an hour to rest so he could get 2 of his wild shapes back to complete the journey.
Sure, that's fine.
But on the way out, they managed to save an hour by doubling it up. So on the way back, they just eat that hour.
That works for me. As you make your way back to the busy Port Nyanzuru, Verdi, you make sure that Hudson is raised hand. And Celis raised his hand. That was 2 hours ago.
I was trying to figure out how to get rid of the AoE I tossed down.
Well, we'll figure it out. There's a button for that, but I'm just going to move you guys in the meantime. Activate. Back in Port Nyanzuru. Cool beans. You find Hudson, Jezebel. She thanks you for returning the boat in one piece. As you guys find yourselves with the rest of the afternoon ahead of you. During the boat ride, Edith quite literally meant eat the gorget.
Yeah.
During the trip, she heads below deck. I would assume no one witnesses this.
Bones does not want to witness this.
Birdie will leave her to whatever she needs to do, I am sure.
Karn's a whale.
Just gonna shoot both of them a look, but let it be.
Okay. Edith eventually returns to the deck at one point. You guys heard some odd noises from below deck, some scraping and some gnashing. The gorget is gone. When she returns, and that's that. So, back in port, the 4 or 5 of you now make your way out onto the pier. Let's see, does she have the wherewithal to do so? Yeah, Edith, upon leaving the ship, adopts a new guide. A similarly short old lady, with a pair of dark, square spectacles, dark, tan, caramel-colored skin with freckles, withered, plump, with her hair tied back, similar to the headdress that you wear, Bones. She adopts the appearance of an elderly Nyanzaru crone. Elderly Tekalan crone.
Cool.
What should we call you now?
I think someone mentioned Elaine. I think I can go by that. That's close enough. It's kind of like renaming a cat. You gotta pick a similar name. Just different enough to put the fear of God in him. Ratto. Tell me, Muscles.
And she looks toward Verdi.
Did you happen upon my cauldron?
Well, we were in a rush to get to you, but I was going to swing by there on the way back.
Too much of a rush to secure the belongings that I so selflessly bequeathed them to my young apprentice? Anyway, let's head there before we get to find a place.
Yes, ma'am.
She kind of points her cane in that direction. Starts leading the way toward the Half Moon Court. You guys approach the wreckage of the burnt building, and it smells like burnt chemical and burnt hair. The cinders are still smoldering. Some of the wood is still hot to the touch. There is still a cordon of like barrels surrounding it, just in case it catches a light again. Um, the guard presence is reduced, and you see a lot more like workers and cleaners around it. Verdi, Bones, Biff, Karn, your blackguards, they just assume that you're here to investigate or just here to pick up the wreckage on behest of a friend. It doesn't take you much at all to get in there. The town knows you. You make your way into the framework of the building. Verdi, you know this place pretty well. You find your way into the back room. The pedestal that Edith's journal recipe book is collapsed, crumbled. It's just carbon now. The glass dome that it sat in is shattered. The book itself sits upon a pile of smoldering rubble, untouched by the flame. In the corner of the room, there is a large, heavy iron wrought cauldron. It's kicked over on its side. There's a liquid residue kind of stuck to the side of it.
Right, well, Verdi will go and pick up the book and wipe off whatever.
You wipe off the soot. You see that the book has a mithril chain. It's not silver, it's mithril, that kind of binds it closed. And there is a green gem faceted into the leatherwork, polished and smooth, oval shape. As you hold the book, there's a kind of coldness to it. You feel something supernatural in your hands. It resonates with you in a way.
That kind of shakes him a little bit.
It's eerie.
Well, they will tuck it into their bag and look at the cauldron.
Is this the cauldron?
That is the cauldron.
So you look over the cauldron. Karn, it's a massive cauldron. It can easily hold 40 gallons.
I'm going to try and pick it up.
Stumpy iron legs, 3 in all. You go and you reach for the handles and you heft it up, and you need to give me a powerful build. What's your strength?
My strength is 18.
You lift it up over your head and wear it like a hat.
Karn.
And kind of wobble because
the cauldron.
You have the cauldron. As your voice kind of like resonates through the cauldron.
This one sounds imposing.
It's a bit of an echo.
Echo.
Biff, you get read in along the boat ride home about what had happened in the Half Moon Court. The fire, the hag that attacked through the flame, what had happened to Edith, and what was shared with Bones along the morning meetup. Verdi, do you share what happened the night before?
He'll go into some detail.
And together they paint you a picture of Edith is a hag, an Annis hag, one of the mountain-dwelling ones, the big ones, the mean ones, the physically imposing ones, known for certain cruel deeds, known to you in the old country as corruptors and destroyers of innocence. They delight in nothing more than taking something that is good and kind and turning it wicked. Biff, because you are Ghanaian lore, Annis hags are known for creating bad seeds in communities. They will choose a child and, through magic, whisper secrets. Convince them that ill deeds are okay, that Granny says you can do it. Grandma would have kicked that kid in the teeth if they said that mean thing to you. You should do it too. It's okay to steal sometimes, especially if you're hungry, or if you want it, because you're a growing lad. that kind of shit. Until eventually you've got a sociopath in your community and the parents have to decide what the fuck are we going to do with this kid. That's like their MO. They're known for creating paranoia in communities by leaving effigies, mutilating animals, and leaving them near the forest and stuff like that. Definite, like, Blair Witch shit.
Okay, Biff is gonna make a quiet point to keep an eye on his allies, mainly Verdi, as Verdi has the most what's the word? The most association with her of his group, not counting B-sides.
And if Biff shares that information, Bones will be like, okay, yeah, I know exactly what to look for now if she starts acting the fuck out.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So yeah, Biff, like, Bones, you vouch for Edith, and Verdi, you vouch for Edith, and you vouch for Vanya. You're both in Vanya's corner. I mean, you guys have some kind of connection now. But it does turn into a conversation of, well, when the boot drops, we should be prepared.
Yeah.
And during this time, you're not sure if Edith is paying attention. Bones, you get the impression that she knows.
Yeah, Bones is not. Yeah, Bones is not. Bones is not hiding the fact that she doesn't 100% trust Edith. Like, now that she has, like, to actually deal with the consequences of the plan that she made. She is making no secret of the fact that if Edith fucks up, Bones will end her. And
fair enough.
And the entire ride, like, Biff was not mean to Edith, but he clearly did not, like, he sympathizes with the fact that like, the sister came and wanted to ruin the quietude that Edith made.
Yeah.
But she's still a hag with tendencies.
Is a leopard going to change their spots? Leopard's still a carnivore, bro. You have wisdom to rely on. You have history to rely on, and you are not convinced.
Give her the fair shake. She says she even admitted to stuff that they didn't ask for. Bones was about to say, she'd never done that, and the Edith was like, not here.
Seriously, to correct that, yeah.
So give her a very fair shake. But
basically, she's on parole.
And so, like, yeah, this is something you guys either discuss or keep amongst yourself. Know that Edith is fine with whatever you decide. She's putting the ball in your court, especially you, Bones. You are allowing her into your town, and she makes it evidently clear that she's going to do her best, and if you got to pull the trigger, you got to pull it. It's your request to keep her around. Vanya's request to keep her
around. She keeps her cruelty to, like, I don't know, assigning homework on weekends or some shit.
I mean, yeah. And she does, point out that, her cruelty is small things now. It's very small things. No one really gets hurt. Some people lose some stuff. Some people trip and eat shit. Occasionally, someone gets a little sick. Nothing bad ever happens. Nothing terrible, anyway. Maybe a little bad. Inconveniences. Minor mischievous inconveniences happen. So, Karn, you've got the cauldron. Verdi, you've got the book. You guys make your way back up through Turric Anchorage and toward Vanya's apartments. Vanya, you have been toiling away, all of which seem to be getting under your feet and in the way and helping out in equal measure. Stratus remains nearby, essentially watching, not critiquing, but suggesting and pointing out things as you brew. They have taken a spot on the stool that Edith had been sitting on. Their tall, wide-brimmed hat upon their head as they watch you with a sort of steely gaze. They read out the instructions to keep your hands free as you mix the final portions of your brew.
Okay.
As Stratus points out that the final ingredient to add is a medium dollop, that's not metric, of gum arabica. Lady Viner, do you happen to have a shot glass?
Actually, I did make a point of buying some alchemist supplies recently.
All right, you have some alchemist supplies. You measure out the dosage, and Stratus nods. And as you're mixing this brew under in this cauldron of yours, the troll heart has completely dissolved. There's no pulp. There's no bits. It's just this dark brown, kind of green, translucent broth. As you take the tiny flask of gum arabica and, while whisking, slowly pour it in. You're being assisted, so you can make this check with advantage. I need you to make an alchemist's tools check. You may use your wisdom modifier. Do not roll low. Or do. I'm not your dad.
Okay. All right, so when I click on alchemist supplies, nothing, my proficiencies, nothing happens, so let me roll this as a, what stat am I using as my base, you said?
Since it is by rote, you can use wisdom.
Wisdom, okay. So wisdom with proficiency, so wisdom save.
You have
Wait,
advantage
not
on this.
proficiency in wisdom.
Just add 4? No, you're level 7, add 3.
All right, so this roll plus 3. Oh, good. 23.
Okay.
Well, roll twice, because if it's advantage, you might get it.
You have advantage. 18.
Okay.
So, you are astounded and startled as a puff of smoke rolls past you, and the foul scent of acrid rot kind of fills the interior of your cooking space. The potion, the cauldron full of liquid, condenses instantly to a small amount at the bottom of the pot, as though everything had instantly and suddenly condensed into a syrupy, green-brown, oily liquid. It smells terrible. Stratus, oh, that's quite foul. Wrinkles his nose and shakes his nose. Yes, I suppose. Listen, it's supposed to smell acrid and foul, and this is fairly acrid and fairly foul. It doesn't smell like rotten fish, so that's one of the notes here. I think it's right.
Stopping it now?
Yes, pour it out and stop it. Oh god, I wish it was a skeleton right now. More of a skeleton, anyway. Oof. You pour it out into a stoppered vial. Get the cork in there. And I would assume immediately begin prestidigitating the funk out of your kitchen.
Oh, yes.
Okay. The 5 of you make your way to the apartment as the scent wafts out.
Yeah, potion's done.
Birdie makes like stink face like a cat.
Bones is just
Natasha
sneezing.
Natasha won't go in. Natasha waits outside as you guys get to the door. Frederick does not greet you. Doesn't have to. He's just the doorman. The bouncer?
I had called him in earlier because
he's in? There's no
yeah,
Frederick
I'm
at the door.
paranoid. So anyone thinking that I'm home. Aside
Okay.
from the smell wafting out through the windows, open windows now.
If anyone asks, you died. You guys kind of muscle on inside.
Verdi will gently knock and say that he's there first before barging in.
You knock before Kramer sliding in. Yeah, Bones, you're sneezing. It's an awful smell. This is like the heart of the jungle, the worst. As you make your way inside and look around, you see Vanya is casting magic, a kerchief on her nose as she tries to prestidigitate the smell. Karn, it really is a shame that they fixed your fucked up face. Biff, you've smelt fish stews that have not been done correctly. This is worse. It's bad.
One moment, I've almost have the room cleared. I apologize for the smell. I did not expect it to. I don't know what I was expecting.
I hope you're ready to buy new furniture. It kind of seeps into the cotton.
Oh, and she waddles toward you, dropping her cane, and she goes to hug you and then pauses before pulling her punches before hugging you.
Yeah, there's an awkward moment where I kneel down and then pause and catch myself, and we both feel awkward, and then we both hug anyway.
Yeah. You recognize that she's not the same person. She's adopted a different disguise. Most of her mannerisms are still there. It's still Edith. It's just a different shape, which is something that you're kind of getting used to. It's Edith.
Of all
it's
the
just
people
different.
to not mind a different appearance, that's certainly me. So I'm not bothered in the slightest.
So, you guys reunite. Edith regales you, and these damned fools who showed up with some damn whales and broke up their hot date with a mouse man.
I think you can do better than a mouse man.
I don't know. He was kind of hot, kind of mean, but I kind of liked the meanness. He had fire to him. So, your councilwoman, chairwoman, Ms. Darkmoon, has decided to put me on parole and bring me to this new haven of yours. So, new look, new me. I think we're going to figure it out together.
Excellent. We will be able to travel south together.
Well,
teach
yeah.
me.
Well, I suppose that would be in order. Muscles. Not you, Muscles. You have actual muscles. I mean the limbo one with nice horns. May I have my book, please?
You will take out the book. Still confused about being called Muscles, but okay.
She takes the book from you.
Where should this one put the cauldron, Drun?
Oh, please take it off your head, sir.
She hands the book kind of absently to Vanya.
I just realized that we are probably crowding the shit out of.
Yeah,
Vanya.
Bones is like
small apartment.
Bones is like trying to like. She's like, I'm gonna take that potion, and I have like 8 million arrows to run.
All right, so Bones, you just go for the potion right away.
I'm gonna sidle up to Vanya through the crowd. I'm good at walking through crowds.
Right on. So you opt to make good on the promise.
I package the potion up in a little box for Bones and present it to her. Yeah. Thank you so much. I cannot express how much it means for you to be able to bring her back to me.
And I can't express how much it means for you to give me this potion so that I can fix this mistake. So.
A mistake that requires a potion of regeneration. That is some mistake.
I broke something very badly and now I need to fix it.
I just nod soberly.
I won't be with you all for the first few days on the trip south, but I will be joining you after.
Oh. All right. I look forward to learning more about this town that everyone is talking about.
So you'll be okay, Bones. Perhaps you wish to tell Biff what happened and drive it?
Oh, this is for Shago. You all know that's, Verdi and Biff, you know, and Karn, you know that story. I'm going back to Amavastia for a day, and then I'll be joining back up with the caravan.
Def nods.
And I'll wave to everyone goodbye, and I'm gonna head out and go find some.
All right, Bones, you head out. You know where to find Shadow. He's in the old city. He's probably working Executioner's Run. He doesn't have to move much there. It's
I'm
kind of
gonna,
his go-to.
on the way back, return the swords to the forge.
Okay. Not gonna fucking oh, you can get your fucking Golox from Cross. All right, cool. So you head off in that direction. Karn, you pull the cauldron off your head and you present it to Edith, Elaine. Oh fuck, this is gonna be hard. You present it to Elaine, and she just waves her fingers and speaks quietly. Rosebud. The cauldron shrinks to 1/8 of its size in the palms of your hand, and the legs of the cauldron begin to wiggle. All right, come along, cauldron. We got places to go. The cauldron leaps from your hand, Karn. A tiny, animated black cauldron with stubby little legs.
You could have done that the whole time.
I was enjoying.
Amazing.
I was enjoying marveling the feats of strength and manliness. I don't get very many kicks these days. Don't you dare judge me.
No, not just now.
You were going to judge. And she turns toward Vanya. Right then, teaching you. I can do that. It's going to take some time. But those are the collected works of Edith Dench. Shame she had to leave us so soon. But I believe if anyone can pass the knowledge hidden within, it's you. I can whip back my book so I can teach you.
Of my elders to guide me.
Yeah, elders to guide you, yeah. If anyone asks you, find me in Milo's throat. Now give me back my book.
I don't even have the book since I was running around working the potion, so.
She grabs the book, tucks it under her arm as you guys prepare to leave. It's past 1. It's past 1. You guys have things to prepare. Vanya, you got shit to pack. Karn, you got 2 Warforged and a gnome to probably check in on, or other shit to do. Whatever. Verdi, you got your really close friend that you want to transition through this. And Biff, God, you got so much shit on your mind right now. I don't know what Biff is gonna do.
Biff, unfortunately, let Bones get away, but seeing that there's a lull and people are starting to prepare to do their own thing. Before we break, Biff have question for you, Verdi. That is, you remember the 4 turtles we have met along the road?
Yes.
They're in town and will be traveling south. Um, they requested, and Biff would like to know if it is fine with you and others, as he motions to Karn, to travel with us.
I do not see why not. They can fight on their own. They don't need protection.
Okay. Biff will go eventually find them and let them know. Biff kind of rubs his forehead. Clearly, things are on his mind. If you need Biff, Biff will probably be around Adamag area or the central area, whatever. Biff
Right.
out.
Biff out. Biff,
This
as you
one
out.
will walk with the Biff.
It's a buddy cop movie. There's no cops and there's robots and a monk.
I'll wave to Verdi and Vanya and head out with Biff.
Freddy will wave back. Thank you.
This one is happy to help. This one is still not entirely sure what these ones did, but this one is happy to help.
Biff doesn't answer. He just kind of puts his hand up in parting.
Okay, as you leave Verdi and Vanya behind, the day stretches on. Karn and Biff, you head back to Gnome Town, over to where Aramag is hanging out. You do find that the turtles are nearby. They are courting the dragon turtle, discussing different matters. You walk in on a conversation about spirituality and the mind's eye. And Aramag seems not touched. Touch isn't the word, but he's learned something from them, and something has really caught his attention with this whole discussion with these monks. You touch base with them, inform them that they're cool to come with, that they may have to defend themselves, but there will be protection in the caravan so long as they're willing to go the risk. That's what you guys do for the rest of your afternoon into the evening, unless you have more things to do in town. Biff, I assume you're cool with hanging out with Aramag until you have to leave.
I think so. They're leaving the next morning.
Everyone's leaving the next morning.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
everyone.
They, the commission, the wagons, the cheese wheels, all set to go in the morning.
Well, he'll actually sleep back in wherever people are sleeping. I can't remember where.
Yeah, there's a number of different inns. There's the commission headquarters where you have a free bed.
Yeah,
at the commission headquarters.
That's where he'll actually sleep at the headquarters.
Okay, cool. So that's what you guys do with your day and your evening. Bone, you make your way to the old city toward Executioner's Run, and you do find Shago is on the job. Right now, it seems as though there is some kind of... It's not quite an execution. It looks to be a game of some kind, where there are men who have their faces painted like lions, like dinosaurs, like bears, and they're kind of just like pushing and shoving and preventing someone from making their way from one end of the run to the other. Kind of like a satire of the traditional execution method. And there does seem to be some money changing hands. There does seem to be a lot of jeering and cheering. You clock Shaga. His crossbow has blunted bolts. They look like they would leave painful welts if they were to strike someone, but they certainly look non-lethal.
Yeah, I'll sidle up to him next, like I usually do.
He's going to make a perception check and roll a 6. Stealthing?
I mean, not on purpose, but with
Not
a
on
6.
purpose. He doesn't catch you until you are within a hair's distance. He kind of turns and glances at you, and there's like a smile on his face. It's crooked. But there's a lot of laughing, and he seems to be in good spirits. I see you've come to see the show as well. The fool, he fights for his life. He has performed a great crime, stealing of bread in the market square.
Oh no, how dare he?
How dare he?
I brought that drink I owe you.
A drink? We have already broken our tesh.
Trust me. But we should probably find some place to drink it.
It's a place to drink it. Well, this job is not being taken seriously. I will be paid whether I slack or not, so... He stows his crossbow. Are you looking for somewhere discreet, or...
Yeah, discreet would probably be the best.
He glances at you and nods, looking a little wary, as you move away from Executioner's Run into the one of the small communities to the side of the old road. It's like a 5-minute walk. There's numerous clustered houses. There are children kind of screaming and running around. A couple of them are wearing lacquered masks of different animals. They seem to be playing some kind of elaborate game of tag. The children here seem to have a number of strange rituals, and this is one of them. Away from the kids, away from the elders, into a shady spot. He looks you over as you find your way into what's essentially an alley between buildings.
Yep. I have ditched the box that Vanya gave me, and then just hand him the vial.
He looks the vial over, and Shago is normally one to accept gifts, but I am curious. It's just, what is this?
It's a potion of regeneration.
His brows lift. Regeneration. You mean like, oh. This is something special. Shago does not know magic, but it seems like something exceptionally rare and valuable.
It is, and you're going to drink it.
Oh, Shago does not have a say in this.
Bones just grins at him.
He squints at you, looks at the bottle, looks back at you, goes to uncork it. It is a viscous, vaguely transparent brown-green liquid. There's an oily sheen on it, and as he uncorks it, the smell of rot escapes. Oh! Miss Darkmoon, if this is a vile trick, all 20 of my blank bolts are going directly into your behind. I am going to make it so that you cannot sit for a year.
Fair enough.
This is a promise, Shago Mix.
I understand.
He brings the bottle to his lips. Retches. Oh, that is foul. Okay. Shago is afraid of no man, no beast, no indigestion. And he tips it back, swallows, and makes the most unpleasant face as several times he goes to retch, but chokes it down. Oh, it is saltier than it looks. Yeah. This is not refuse water.
No.
I swear in the gods, all Oh! He doubles over. He clutches his stomach against the stagger. He drops the flask onto the stone ground below. You see it kind of fall in slow motion. Do you go to grab it?
I'm gonna go grab him. Fuck the
It
flask.
shatters on the ground. It shatters on the ground as you scoop him up and stabilize him. His body is cold as he sweats, and this oily sheen kind of like perspirates onto his body, and he clutches his stomach. What in the nine hells? Oh, Shago's stomach is on fire. Oh, Shago's insides are becoming outsides. He doubles over and shakes his head as though in pain, and you see blood begins to trickle out of his mouth, squirts out from his gums. Give me a perception check.
Yeah.
You hear crunching and popping noises inside his body, under his flesh.
Bones is not happy about this.
Not happy. You see the partial plate, his false teeth, slowly get ejected from his mouth. He chokes on it briefly before spitting it out. As you see, covered in blood, newly forming teeth emerge from the flesh. It is clearly an unpleasant experience.
I am I am apologizing. I'm like, Shago, I am so sorry. If I knew it was going to be like this, I would have warned you a bit more.
I like this story. Oh, I would not have drinking it if you had told me. As he just kind of shakes and twists, you hear a popping noise from his hip. As it aligns, you hear a crunching noise as the left side of his face begins to fill out. The broken cheekbone resetting itself, the jawline building back into place. A thin, what looks like copper wire emerges from the flesh on the side of his face, jettisoned out as his body regenerates and rejects it. This goes on for 2 minutes, I believe, as it takes it. That is the time that it takes to regenerate body parts. He is left panting and sweating. You are left, I don't know,
Shaken?
I imagine freaking out,
Yeah,
shaken.
freaking out. I'm gonna like grab my flask and it's water, but I'm gonna hand it to him.
He takes it, he drinks it. Well, first he downs a little bit, swishes his mouth and spits. You see him lick his teeth, and it is a fine set of nicely aligned, somewhat big, handsome teeth. His mouth is straight, his features are symmetrical. He is sweating bullets. But he is a handsome man. He has not looked this good in over a year. You see Shago a little pale, shaken, panting, but restored. He looks to you, looks himself over, downs the rest of the flask, and grins. Shago feels like hell, but he also feels like 1,000,000 platinum pieces. Shago feels strong. Shago feels full. Like he has the strength of 10 men. Like he could run a mile. Like he could dig a hole. Like he could fist fight a zombie. Ah. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm just fixing what I broke, Shago.
You're doing better than fixing. This is better. He feels young, bold.
Need help home?
I should be asking you if you need help. If Darkness Dark Moon needs help doing anything, you need a whole dog. You need a Stegosaurus lifted. You need a point charted through the jungle. You need a body buried. You need places of bodies hidden. Shago will do these things.
You're already going on the caravan for me. I'll be a few days delayed. Make sure that no one does any... Make sure the idiots don't idiot until I get back.
Shago can do this. Shago will do this.
And if they won't not idiot, then go with them and make sure that they don't die.
I will bring a shovel, just in case they need persuading or burying. I will let you know.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Still panting, glowing, sweat covered. His skin is like really oily right now.
Yeah.
But he looks bold. He looks vital. He rolls his shoulders, nods to you. Shago is going to go quit his job and join the caravan. See you in a few days.
See you in a few days.
Inclines his head and runs off into the distance.
Bones takes a deep-ass breath, and then she's gonna head home, because she's gotta go tell a wizard they're going to the jungle.
It's alright. You head back home toward Crosp's lab. So when you get back to the lab, the discussion is brief. You find that Crosp has already packed some things, despite your warnings. He's wary, but prepared to head out into the jungle. You spend your evening at the tower. You finish up any loose ends that you may have had in town. The rest of the party, you prepare to bed for the evening. Some of you linger at Gnome Town, party a little bit, those of you who have any free time. But for the most part, today is a day of preparation to leave in the morning. We are going to skip ahead, if no one objects, to later in the evening to pull back toward the old lab. We cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 a.m. Roar. It has been all day and all night, times 2. Alina had stayed long into the wee hours to play music. At one point, Salin was brought in to help clap and play the spoons poorly. Ernest remains with you, continuing to pontificate and make posturing offerings to his god, Kol Koran, a god of mercantile persuasion, a god of commerce and deals. And from what you can tell, he tries to preserve the investment that you've made. He's no god of building, but it does seem to fall under their purview, or so Ernest seems to connive. As you finish with your scribing tools and put in the final touches of your work, I would like you to pick a tool that you are proficient in to make this final singular check.
I'm going to do my Tinker's Tools.
Tinker's Tools. So with pliers and wire and little gears and cogs, how do you imagine your boat to be, your folding boat? Do you change the color, change the design, or leave it as a sort of sleeper, unassuming?
Leaving the color and such the same, leaving the general design the same as it was created. If I made my own, I'd make it differently, but I'm just looking to enhance an already great magical item. So all I'm doing is I'm adding the golden accents along the way with the runic, etched and painted and such in ways that it only goes with the island design. So sometimes it's disappeared into the work, so it's not so so obvious to everyone that there's additional magic in it. It's just
All right,
like
I get you.
Right?
It looks like something of the native build, the native aesthetic. It's a simple riverboat until you look closer. So as you customize and finish the final touches, you double check the runic, and by gods, Thorhack help you, you check the math. You finish the final etchings of the Etherstone and the final tweaks with your Tinker's Tools. Asking the chat, is there a dice in the pool?
No.
No.
The dice has been used. Okay. That's the case.
As I recall, with what we discussed prior and what was noted 2 games ago, maybe three, because I've had the necessary help the whole way through. I'm doing one check, but it's an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not getting a reroll. Is a little out of use, but I'm going to take what I can get.
So
with the Tinker's Tool, can I make it, because I'm doing my last little bit with making sure the runic is right and everything? Can I do it with intelligence?
Absolutely.
All right.
So
All right. Then
it's going to be a Tinker's Tool check, so a D20. Add your proficiency, but double it. Add your int, and it's at advantage.
And
Ernest nearby.
And with a flash of geniusness.
So shit.
So now I'm just gonna roll at
advantage, and then I'm gonna roll a d4, and we'll see where we get.
Oh,
there's only one way that gets better. So
hold on.
I'm just gonna roll a d4 before I do anything else.
If you roll a nat 20, things will happen.
So without bonuses.
Just using the guidance and the d20. I am at 22.
I'm gonna roll the d20
for my second time.
Mm-hmm. You have made the check. It can only get better.
Okay, that was not as
Okay,
good.
that was not as good.
But with the first roll, I had a 38.
Okay. That is substantially higher than the DC of 22. So, as I add this item to your sheet, one moment.
Proficiency is 4, double is 8. Int is 4. Flash of Genius is my int score
There's
again.
a new item inside of the items folder. You finish the final etching, the final bit of runic, as you use your tinker tools to essentially connect the circuit. Galleon steps back and mops his brow. It's not sweating, it's just a learned behavior. Ernest takes a step back and looks as an aurora of colors coalesces above the boat. Ambient magic, raw aether from the mists, begins to slowly and surely siphon downward, illuminating the wood, causing the stern to the hull to the backside too to glow a resplendent array of iridescent color, for but a moment looking like mercury. The colors fade as the fringes of the boat take on a lacquered appearance. Something ethereal about the material. There's a faint glow to it, as you are certain the magic has taken hold. Inside of the etheric engine, the device that you and Thorak had worked together to build, there is a glow of a multitude of colors flickering and flashing, one after another: red, blue, gold, and brown. Pick 2 planes: earth, fire, wind, or water.
The boat is still a boat.
The boat is still a boat.
So I am going to choose Earth and Air.
Earth and Air.
Earth and air. Do you have the information open about your boat?
Yeah. So I had
the port of the folding boat opened up. Yeah.
All right. It's Earth and
Earth and Air.
Earth and Air.
Earth and air. So, going to unhide the bottom text. The all-terrain folding boat, Pawn's fantastic flotation format, is known to you.
Okay.
Well,
my
folding boat in the items sheet has not updated. Let me refresh.
It's not the folding boat. There's a new item inside the items directory.
I was in the items directory.
I didn't see anything new other than my outside of the folding boats and stuff we already have.
All right, let me show it. There we go. That should show it.
There we go. Yeah, I see that.
There we go. Yeah, I see that now.
Okay. So, you kind of take a breath and stagger back as you feel that your own internal magic, your essence, has been pulled into this. Part of your willpower has been essentially lopped off, and you are experiencing the Warforged equivalent of, God, that was a really hard workout. Not exhaustion, but almost like a runner's high. You intrinsically understand what is in this boat as you unlock the power of earth and the power of air inside of it. You know that it can float, and you know that it'll float on land. Kind of what you were going for.
Awesome. I look at it,
and look around at who all is in the room with me. I know that Gallium is still there. Alina was still playing some music, or did she actually go to sleep?
It's 2 a.m. Alina, would you still be there? I imagine you would have gone home by now.
Yeah. If Solon was like, okay, we're going home, Alina's gonna spend one last night with her girlfriend and her puppy and her noodle.
Oh, yeah. So, Alina has left a couple hours ago. Ernst is kind of like watching on. Crookedy smile, grinning ear to ear as he sees the magic tag. Gallium lifts both of his hands up and kind of lets out this bellowing cheer.
Karn would probably be there after hanging out with Biff, since Karn is homeless.
Karn is homeless. He's got nothing better to do. Leah, you sleep now and again. This happens while you're not trancing. So you observe the colors, the change that happens in the boat. Nothing physically really changes, aside from this faint shimmer to the wood. You're aware that magic has taken to it.
Okay. That will probably spark a new conversation with Adanu.
Slowly.
So that is actually
where I as I see Leah getting ready to pop in and do another thing. I quickly run to the hole
and put my head in
just as she is, and I'll say,
I just finished a thing. Do you want to ride?
Ride upon a thing? Yes, of course. That sounds delightful.
All right. Let's get you out of this hole. Let's get you into a boat. This is going to be fun.
A boat? I have not ridden a boat in so long. Where is your tiny servant that can lead me?
Service.
And Service would just like pop up at his ankle because he's been picking up the little pieces of wrapper and neatly flattening them or counting things with them because he can't.
I love him.
Service is so cute.
He's a goblin. So yeah, you come in, Service. He goes over and he doesn't make any noise. You imagine that if he did, it would be like a little raspy noise, but he doesn't make any noise. He takes Adanu by the hand and leads him out of the hole. Adanu's blind as a bat. He's wearing a fucking blindfold. But he follows the little creature's lead as you guys begin to make the boat out for its christening voyage. So as you guys plan to...
I was just gonna say, Leah, do you want to come too, or do you want to stay in the lab?
Come.
Absolutely. So you guys... Well, first you got to get the boat out. You say the command word. I'm sure you've changed the command word by now to make it shrink.
Karn is definitely going on this ride, too.
Going on a ride. It's a magical ride. Y'all pull the magic wagon out of the old lab. You find a place in the town on the road that's big enough to hide it. Is this a land ride? Is this a joyride? You guys going on the water? What's going on?
Roar wants the best option of the two right now, which is the air ride.
So
Air ride.
He's going to activate the air elemental half.
And
so you guys
get them the full 40 feet above the ground that they can go in the amount of time it takes to get to there, and then just opens it up and takes them on a kind of wide arc circling the town, moving within the street lanes that they have when the buildings beside are at the 40-foot height. But if he's for them, he's just like sliding over the roofs, just enjoying this new magical item.
All right. So, are you taking the helm?
Oh hell yes!
Oh hell yes!
I am proficient
Roar's
in
taking
boats,
helm.
boats, and
So
boats.
this is boats, and boats. So you get out of the old ladder, you set up the boat, and you guys load on in, and it's like, this is boat, he's on ground, we are stranded. And you're like, nuh-uh. And the boat begins to move. The ground, this wind pushes up from the ground, lifting the boat just like an inch off the ground, and then like a foot off the ground. And you guys begin to propel forward, down, I'm gonna use Karn's token here, down the street this way. All the while, gaining momentum, pushing forward and lifting up as you careen toward a short building. As Gallium kind of holds onto the rail, roar, there is building, roar, there is building, roar. You punch it. The wind picks up from beneath the boat, rocking it and rolling it and twisting as it lifts up the point of the boat, just barely cresting this small building before shooting off past it above it. The ground below grows distant. Alina, while you are sleeping, you hear of wind as the ship goes overhead of your apartment.
Alina's just gonna like roll over because I am sure Misha's losing his shit because he's never heard an airplane before.
Misha starts yipping and yapping and barking at everything in the building. You look out the window and you see like a glowing glint of the etheric engine, the elemental engine rather, that's powering this little airboat as it gains elevation past this hill and flies over the bluffs out into the open sea.
Alina's just gonna climb back into bed and be like, magic is fucking weird. Oh yes, please.
As you guys
Buzz
fly,
cross flab! Buzz cross flab!
As you guys fly around the bluffs, you see Aramag wake up. As he bellows in your direction, the wind pushing down on his mighty form, kicking off gouts of steam and air and water. As you guys are 40 feet above the fucking turtle, he like makes a snap at the boat, trying to chomp it. But you guys swiftly pass beyond his reach, dropping in elevation as you get close to the bridge leading between the island and Cross Slab. Bones, you're keen to back the ears.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up, Reg.
You look up and you and Reg look out the giant bay windows, and Reginald's like, "What the actual fuck is that? An airship? That's a fucking airship!" He gets up in his long johns, stumbles to the door, stumbles to the windows, trips, eats shit off the bed, picks himself up. Ow, fuck, ow, toe, fuck, ow.
Sweetheart,
before planting his face.
I'm sure Roar will give you a ride in the morning.
Oh, it's so cool. He watches as you guys pass beyond, as you guys make your way back into the islands, past the merchant prince's villa, raising an elevation, lowering elevation. I'm assuming you're keeping the 40 feet distance. You guys are kicking aside small things as the air pressure beneath you creates this wake as you go round about the island. You see how the braziers lit. They twinkle in the distance. You see the moonlight glittering off the bay. Ernest is just hollering and hooting and yowling. And Gallium eventually begins to laugh and chuckle heartily as you take it for a ride. And the boat does not crash.
That is how he wanted to be able to test that. Just like
open it up
and see where it goes.
So, as you bring the boat to a stop, gliding it to the ground,
the bottom of it kind of scrapes against the cobblestones below. But you put the magic into this, you know how resilient this wood is now. It's going to take a goddamn mithril weapon to scratch this thing. You stop it before the old lab. Your passengers, Ernest at least, kind of stumbles and wobbles off the boat, exhausted, but pleased to see everything has gone well. Gallium gives you a knowing and approving nod, Roar, as you pulled it together and achieved a feat many in the Lyceum would say is foolhardy. That is where we're going to call it.
Awesome.
So, going forward, before you guys all adjourn for the evening, next game we are going to pick up as the commission is heading out, the caravan is heading out, as you guys are making your way into the jungle. We played a little long today, and I regret to make announcements this late. However, it has to be said before next game. I have been enjoying this experiment of running weekly. However, I am aware of my limits. So I would like to move back to a bi-weekly schedule. Seeing as the B-Sides has wrapped up their story and many have joined with the main cast, and seeing as we're moving into a new story arc, well, I can't say that without spoilers. Seeing as we're moving into Destinations Unknown, where there may or may not be lots of freedom to choose what you want to do, I would like to spend more time planning game, maybe just a little more, and more time relaxing between game. The next leg of this journey, mechanically, I do not intend to play out the entire 2-week travel. You guys are moving with caravans, it's going to be slow as hell, through the jungle. I will prepare a number of points of interest, and you guys will tell me if you want to pursue them. Places that you've missed along the way, places that you might be interested in seeing, loose ends with the Pale Dwarves or Camp Righteous Vengeance, Camp Vengeance, the Ziggurat, things like that. There will be room for roleplay. Of course, there will always be room for roleplay. But what I intend to do is break the game up into a series of vignettes for the travel. We'll go back to regular, day-by-day play as needed. But it took me, how many weeks to get through 2 days in Yanzuru? 2 weeks in the jungle is going to not be... At that pace, we'll be playing till we're 80 before you guys finally figure out, whether or not Isarak was a Mets fan or a Sox fan,
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool beans. I'll be in touch as far as that goes, populating things to do on the map. There'll be some time to go over notes and touch things out of character. I intend to run opposite of Shadows. Seeing as we have Shadows back, it seems only appropriate to go back to form with that. That way, we get one game a week at least.
Sounds good to me.
Alrighty, cool bean. Thank you guys for sticking it out. Thank you guys for playing game.
Thanks again.
Happy to provide. I'm happy to have you guys with me. I'll be in IMs, and I'll see you guys around.
Have a good night, all.